Look at how cute and little you are.
like you now.
Wow, hi.
Look at me, I'm so small like you.
You're so little.
I'm on the mic. Hi.
I love this. You should just stay that size.
It just goes through you. Suck on the plunger. Put it on me and suck the.
Oh.
Yes. Now suck it. It's this foot right there.
Oh, I think you sound like you're cool. But yeah, so I'm glad that you all have enjoyed all my music. So just to let you know a little bit about me. Oh yes. So just to let you know a little bit about me. Clearly I play music and sing, right? But I also get out of here!
No!
Get out of here! Get out of here! Get out of here! I am in charge here. I am in charge. I rule this land. Okay. Now that we got this under control again. You don't want to hold me? Fine, I'll hold you.
I'm just scared that you'll kill us. We don't need to go over there. No!
My bad. Oh, they are. One of their nicknames is a water dog. You know what? I'm a VTuber. You will regret this. Animals aren't gonna go and mess with a snake. They don't want to deal with a snake. They wanted a caterpillar. But no, this caterpillar is like, rawr, I'm a snake now. Yeah, so. It is next level cosplay. I agree. It is awesome. I think this is such a cool caterpillar. Like, who would ever expect that this caterpillar is actually, or that this fake snake is actually a caterpillar, right? Yeah, sock moth caterpillar. Change the settings. Tell it to not be so finicky.
Jeez.
Tell it to be like.
What did they see? Okay.
That's the true face behind Miss Lotl.
Why are you a monster? Okay. I have blinked, you're blinking. Okay. You can't just bite me again.
Probably. Yep.
Stop.
I was trying to steal your crown. Did you see that I was? Oh, like up dog. I don't. What is up dog?
Not much.
Oh my goodness. You guys. Then definitely join the Discord, because I want to do karaoke nights and just like cover nights and stuff, because I play ukulele, I play guitar, and I also just sing. Thank you. And that was a song that I wrote myself. I actually wrote it back in, I think it was 2013. But yeah, so I've got that, and I'm also working on a song about pangolins. So the 3 songs that I've got are the axolotl song, the Hawaiian monk seal song, and then a pangolin song. But the pangolin song is not anywhere near as completed. I have the words, so I've got the lyrics, but I don't have the tune yet. So as I was saying earlier, I'm hoping that I'll feel inspired to make more music. Hey, Persephone hydrated and stole both my waters. You stole both of them. Rude. Give me my tea.
I've never seen a king of beasts with quite so little hair.
I'll show you. I'm gonna with whatever currency exchange or whatever. So you are super pog. Here, I'll say it if you want to clip it for proof. The reactive Cupid is super pog. Absolutely poggers. Do you guys know this song, Amazed by Lone Star? Or we'll do Clarity. We'll do Clarity. But you do know the song All Star by Smash Mouth.
It's only stressful because we're playing together, and therefore we're able to like accidentally hurt each other. I go like that.
Hey! You just chucked me
I
off
didn't mean
the
to.
edge! How could you do this to me?
I didn't mean to. They wanted to see small Percy.
Aw, look! Look, Persephone
I'm standing
shrunk.
on the mic. Look at me. Hi, I'm on the mic.
Aw, look at
I should
how
talk like I'm further away. I'm small. I'm on the mic. Look at me. I'm so small.
Hi!
Hi there. Hi. I'm so small. Look at me. I'm the size of an ant.
Look at how
Hey,
cute
Aunt, can we
and
be
little
friends?
you
I'm
are.
itty bitty like you now.
Wow,
Look at
hi!
me. I'm so small like you.
You're so little!
I'm on the mic. Hi.
I love this. You should just stay that size.
You plant just bite me again.
Probably. Yep.
Stop.
I was trying to steal your crown. Did you see that I was trying? You know what? I'm a VTuber. You will regret this. Hey. Persephone hydrated and stole both my waters. You stole both of them! Rude! Give me my tea.
I've never seen a king of beasts with quite so little hair.
I'll show you. I'm gonna... Oh, they are. One of their nicknames is a water dog.
It just goes through you. Suck on the plunger. Put it on me and suck the...
Oh.
Yes. Now suck it. It's this button right there.
here!
No!
Get out of here!
No!
Get out of here! Get out of here! I am in charge here. I am in charge. I rule this land. Okay. Now that we got this under control again. With whatever currency exchange or whatever. So you are super pog. Here, I'll say it if you want to clip it for proof. The reactive Cupid is super pog. Absolutely poggers. Oh, like up dog? I don't. What is up dog?
Not much.
Oh my goodness. You guys. Somebody's got a question. Sharks seem to attack GoPros a lot. Why is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's being referenced there.
Probably when there's a diver or if somebody's got a GoPro camera. It's just a camera. So
Yeah, I know what GoPros are. The behavior being described here is not one I'm familiar with.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so I've got that, and I'm also working on a song about pangolins. So the 3 songs that I've got are the axolotl song, the Hawaiian monk seal song, and then a pangolin song. But the pangolin song is not anywhere near as completed. I have the words, so I've got the lyrics, but I don't have the tune yet. So, as I was saying earlier, I'm hoping that I'll feel inspired to make more music. Change the settings. Tell it to not be so finicky.
Jeez.
Tell it to be like.
What did they see? Okay.
That's the true face behind Miss Lotl.
Why are you a monster? Okay. I have blinked, you're blinking. Okay.
Animals aren't gonna go and mess with a snake. They don't want to deal with a snake, they wanted a caterpillar. But no, this caterpillar is like, rawr, I'm a snake now. Yeah, so it is next level cosplay, I agree. It is awesome. I think this is such a cool caterpillar. Like, who would ever expect that this caterpillar is actually, or that this fake snake is actually a caterpillar, right? Yeah, sock moth caterpillar. You don't want to hold me? Fine, I'll hold you.
I'm just scared that you'll kill us. We don't need to go over there. No!
My bad. Oh, I think you sound like you're cool. But yeah, so I'm glad that you all have enjoyed all my music. So just to let you know a little bit about me. Oh yes. So just to let you know a little bit about me. Clearly I play music and sing, right? But elephants are earthbenders. You heard it here, folks. Elephants are the real earthbenders of the world. Then definitely join the Discord, because I want to do karaoke nights and just like cover nights and stuff, because I play ukulele, I play guitar, and I also just sing. Thank you. And that was a song that I wrote myself. I actually wrote it back in, I think it was 2013. And Do you guys know this song? Amazed by Lone Star? Or we'll do Clarity. We'll do Clarity. But you do know the song All Star by Smash Mouth. Oh, I think you sound like you're cool. But yeah, so I'm glad that you all have enjoyed all my music. So just to like let you know a little bit about me. Oh yes. So just to let you know a little bit about me. Clearly I play music and sing, right? But animals aren't gonna go and mess with a snake. They don't want to deal with a snake, they wanted a caterpillar. But no, this caterpillar is like, rawr, I'm a snake now. Yeah, so it is next level cosplay, I agree. It is awesome. I think this is such a cool caterpillar. Like, who would ever expect that this caterpillar is actually, or that this fake snake is actually a caterpillar, right? Yeah, sock moth caterpillar.
It's only stressful because we're playing together, and therefore we're able to like accidentally hurt each other. I don't like that.
Hey! You just chucked me
I
off
didn't mean
the
to.
edge! How could you do this to me?
I didn't mean to.
Change the settings. Tell it to not be so finicky.
Jeez.
Tell it to be like.
What did they see? Okay.
That's the true face behind Miss Lotl.
Why are you a monster? Okay. I have blinked, you're blinking. Okay.
Somebody's got a question. Sharks seem to attack GoPros a lot. Why is that?
Yeah, I'm not sure what's being referenced there.
Probably when there's a diver, or if somebody's got a GoPro camera. It's just a camera. So
Yeah, I know what GoPros are. The behavior being described here is not one I'm familiar with.
Oh, okay. It's like up dog. I don't. What is up dog?
Not much.
Oh my goodness. You guys.
It just goes through you. Suck on the plunger. Put it on me and suck the.
Oh.
Yes. Now suck it. It's this foot back there. You plan to just bite me again?
Probably. Yep.
Stop.
I was trying to steal your crown. Did you see that I was trying? You know what? I'm a VTuber. You will regret this. You know what? I'm a VTuber. You will regret this. I have to turn off the.
I'm standing on the mic. Look at me. Hi. I am on the mic.
Hello.
Or did you just unmute it?
Okay.
Get yourself together! Unmute it.
Alright.
Hi!
Hello!
Hello! Why am I so small?
I don't know. Make yourself bigger or something. Hello! Oh, and I've got double echo. I have to make yourself bigger or something. Hold on a second. Oh, and I've got...
That's because you're capturing the sound from your own stream.
There we go. Alright. Okay, I think we're good. How are you guys doing? No? You just ruined it.
No, I did not.
Oh, are you sure?
Yes.
Alright. Woo! We had to do a whole bunch of setup to make all this work. But now you can see there's a chat thingy.
You need to do something about your actual chat scrolling though. No.
Oh.
Let me see. I'm gonna say something real quick.
Okay. We are still testing. Oh, it's scrolled. It's scrolled.
So it was Alt. How's that?
Yeah, that's good. Alright. Yeah, this looks like a game about cute girls and nature. Two of your favorite things. Ours too. Yeah, and I really like how there's the icons and stuff, and your names are nice and bolded and stuff, so... We had to finish setting things up because we were trying to make it look nice. So we are clearly a little bit delayed. Working on some live 2D things. Nice. You're ready for the gay.
It's gonna be so gay.
I mean, I don't know. We don't know this. But presumably it will be.
Well, I don't know.
From the look of the front cover.
I mean, look at them. They're holding hands. Look at them.
I know. So cute. And I like how the other girls in the background are just like tra-la-la.
Mary's like, what is a gay? You. You are. All of us are.
Alright, so let's get started.
You can read chat over here on my screen.
Can you make it bigger? Control plus.
This bigger?
Control plus.
If I can reach.
Pretend I'm blind.
Can you read it now?
A little bit. You're in charge of seeing chat. It'd be easier if, like, it was tilted towards me.
Well, I'm not gonna tilt my entire computer monitor towards
Why not?
you. Because it's exactly where I want it on my computer screen. Like, on my desktop.
Gosh. You're supposed to be a super helpful collab partner. I'm kidding. You've been
Hey,
very
look.
helpful. You've
Look,
been
you
very
can see your
helpful.
chat right there.
Oh, good.
I don't know what you're complaining about. You said you couldn't read it on
I
phone.
didn't see it. How to, like, see it. Alright. We are in business. Woo! Not
Okay.
safe for work. They're just roommates. This is a normal gal pal interaction. I mean, true.
Don't you hold hands with your friends?
You totally can. Of course.
Don't you? Like, I mean, don't you also kiss your friends?
Not necessarily, no.
I guess it depends on where you're from, huh? Also, your phone has like 18%. It's not gonna last very long. What are you doing?
Hey, Kitsali.
Sorry, sweetie. It's stuck. Can't go any lower than that.
I didn't know there would be voice acting. I thought we'd be voice acting.
No, it's fully voice acted. High
is
production
that
value.
That's really good. Okay, hold on. I'm gonna grab your charger.
Okay.
Ow! I just hit my butt.
Don't
I just hit your chair with my chair.
It's hand holding. Yeah, I always kiss my homies goodnight.
You gotta kiss your homies goodnight.
Alright, we're getting my phone plugged in so I can see chat. Even though I have 2 monitors on my desk, only one of them is
The reason
functional.
one of them does not function right now is because you never bought a cable for it.
Oh, well, we should get a cable for it.
Yeah. It cannot go that high.
But you only hold hands with your wife. Gotta wait for marriage before you hold hands. Is that right?
Okay, so we do have to do narration. So who wants to do narration?
my throat's kind of Go ahead.
But the picture I made, this girl is you.
I click down on the switch. A sputtering rumble coughs from the window, vibrating beneath the rushing wind as it rips through the car. I click up on the switch. The window slides the rest of the way up with a smooth purr.
The windows are purring.
I click down again, smooth purr. It stops halfway. Sputtering rumble.
Yep. There's actually a funny story about that.
Jessie laughs guiltily, waving it off with a shrug and a smile.
But I forgot what it was.
Convenient. We smack a bump in the road. The car jolts up, tossing me into the door. I glance in the side mirror as we drive away from a pothole.
Every problem in this park has a story. And there's a lot of stories.
Mary's redeeming a hydrate.
Oh.
That means take a drink. Persephone.
The park makes do with what it has, Eve. We're resourceful that way.
I roll my eyes as she gives a reassuring grin, but her reflection in the stupid broken window tells a different story. One of concern, rivers of coffee, and a decade of overwork.
Hello, Shelby.
Hey, how are you doing, Shelby? There might even be a small wrinkle encroaching on her cheerful round face. But I don't dare say anything. I'm quippy, but I don't have a death wish. Not yet. Yosemite this time of year is a mixture of green and white, where the winter snow still speckles the peaks of stone-gray mountains and blends into spring's revived trees. I close my eyes and let the whistling wind blow onto my face, and for a second, I almost feel like a little girl again, riding in the back of Dad's pickup truck as we zip down the roads of Tioga Pass, anxious to explore the next trail. But right as I remember the smell of the sweet, fresh air, a van speeds past us, leaving a trail of toxic fumes. The memory is ripped away. The lingering exhaust resembles the similarly gray sky, and I have to wonder...
The what kind of gray sky?
Similarly.
Similar.
Stop that. You
The
just
similar-
what? You just stop that. Rude. The lingering exhaust resembles the similarly gray sky, and I have to wonder, if a storm of cloud forms, but it doesn't rain, is it still filled with water, or is it just hollow? Static crackles out of the radio.
Situation 1 has been resolved. Over.
Jessie peels the mic off the dash, one hand on the wheel as she shifts to her supervisor voice.
10-4. Fill me in on the details.
The reports ended up being at 10:56. White male, early 50s. He was stumbling around when I got there. Stopped discharging his firearm as soon as he saw me pull up. Looked like he was shooting at some bottles.
I scoff. Don't even try to hide it. Jessie shoots me a narrow look.
No altercation. But he didn't need to take a breathalyzer for me to know he was wasted. He's in custody now.
I can almost see the bags stretch themselves under Jessie's eyes as she heaves a deep sigh.
It's only paperwork. All right. Thanks, Ernie. I'll be pretty late, so you can have the yogurt in the fridge while filling out the report.
Wait, he's still with the porcupine?
My teeth grit against each other. My shoulders stiffen.
Tell him, girl, we already missed her moves. Hope those Tulumne campers have good dental.
I reach over and rip the mic from Jessie.
Shut your mouth, Hernandez, or else it's gonna be your fat ass who needs the extra dental work.
Gee.
I don't know if this is family friendly. What's the rating on this game?
I don't know. Let's keep going and find out.
Jessie wrestles the radio away from me as Ernie cackles over the radio.
Just have that report on my desk by tomorrow. Over.
I'm still trying to grab the radio by the time she throws it back to on the dash. Groaning, I cross my arms and stare thousands of tiny daggers out the window.
Jeez. You know they're just trying to get a rise out of you. Why do you always take the bait?
Because if they actually cared about their jobs, they'd be angry too. Not that it matters.
At this point, I'm not even sure I care anymore.
It's not everyone, Eve. There are people out there who still care.
Who, the campers? Because I can show you some rocks and trees that a certain artist thought made a good canvas.
I swallow the urge to spit.
That kind of stuff doesn't get fixed overnight.
She takes her job very seriously.
She takes her job very seriously, and she's so upset and frustrated and fed up with how people just don't care. They treat everything terribly, and she's the one who has to try to clean up the mess and try to save everything, save the world, and nobody cares.
You resonate with her a lot, don't you?
I sure can. I see her and I feel her mood, and I'm like channeling it. I'm like, yeah, I feel you, girl. A shadow casts over Jessie's piercing glare.
Neither did his fractured jaw or your suspension.
She got mad and punched somebody, though. I slump back into my seat. Feelings of shame or regret are completely absent. All that's there is the gnawing emptiness that always snakes up my chest and lingers there. Jessie's face softens. The tender expression reminds me of pity.
What happened to you? You used to be such a cute cadet.
She's become jaded and cynical.
What? I'm not still cute?
I flutter my lashes, then roll my eyes. Normally, back talk like this would get anyone from any profession fired. And secretly, I hope it does.
It's that attitude of yours. I remember when you were energetic and determined.
She shoves me.
Be like that again.
They beat that out of me a while ago.
Jessie frowns for a moment. Then she grips the wheel and strains a smile onto her face. Her dimples look like tight drums.
Then let's see if we can cram some of that back in.
By a transfer?
By a change of pace. You'll love the meadows. It's a little chilly this time of year, but you can bundle up in the cabin, which you'll have all to yourself, by the way. You can thank Ranger Smith's gin habit for that.
All of this
And
seems
the
way
camping
too
population?
real.
Yeah, it's supposed to be like pretty real, but also pretty like not real. I don't know. It's supposed to be really good though. Jessie bites her lip. Her eyes dart across the road.
Don't think you're clever. We used to visit Tulumne every summer when I was a kid. I know they have a campground there.
She relents with a sigh.
It's mostly hikers and mountain climbers right now, since the road's just opened. But I'm sure they'll come piling in as it warms up. I expect you to do your job.
Great. More babysitting.
Remember what you signed up for.
Trust me, I do. Or I did before I realized the park was just the public's dumping ground.
That's why the National Park Service exists. We can't protect every square inch of land, but we can manage parts of it.
I scoff.
If only. For most of these people, the parks are just toll roads. They pay to get drunk for a few days. They'll sit around the campfire and talk about how much they connect with nature, and maybe even write poetry about it. And then they'll leave the fire smoldering, forget to pick up their trash, and leave.
Jessie cringes and audibly swallows. She stares at me with this uncomfortable gaze, like something ugly she can't look away from. And the truth is ugly, so fine, let her. She puts on another one of her smiles.
Well, that's why we're
here, right? That's our job. Enforcing the law to protect the land. But who are we protecting it for?
I stare at Jessie with flat eyes, waiting for an answer I know will never come. Likewise, she side-eyes me, waiting as the radio occasionally crackles with a report.
The same people who are destroying it.
No, where do I get for the animals, guys? Forget about the people. I lean back into my seat and stare out the window.
And where's the justice in a job like that?
The sun pokes through an opening in the clouds, but a sea of gray swallows it soon after. Jessie says nothing. I hear her fist squeeze around the rubber grip of the steering wheel. A knuckle pops, then silence. We pass a clearing and the forest that's been trailing us up until now stops. In the distance, I spot the smooth stone peak of Lambert Dome. Sometimes we would make that hike when I was a kid, and when we reached the top, I always felt like I discovered a higher perspective. Everything seems so small, and the answers seem so clear. And I wonder, if I stood up there now, would it be the same? Is what I do important? Does protecting this land and preserving its dignity serve any purpose? And if not, does anything? By the time we begin passing families of pop-up tents and lawn chairs, the sky has dimmed to a deep gray. Slivers of blood orange and red glow out from pockets of open sky. We hook left and take a short beaten path. The tires crunch over the dirt and gravel, then stop. Jessie twists off the ignition. Birds chirp in the fresh silence that only breathes through the air when a vehicle stops.
We're here.
I'm out of the car before she even finishes, dragging my luggage out from the back. Arching into a stretch, I take my first unobstructed look at the cabin. It's a modest building, guarded by a crowd of trees that extend far into the air, lumbering over a pointed roof. Nearly every inch of the cabin is built with the same sanded down wood. It's inoffensively smooth. Tree bark has more texture.
Not too small for you, is it?
Jessie walks up beside me, twirling the keys around her finger. I glance over my shoulder. The campground is hidden behind a thick row of trees. Small glimpses of tents poke out behind them.
Nah, it's perfect.
The wood creaks under our boots as we climb up the steps.
There's another station nearby, but they mostly oversee boring bureaucratic stuff. They'll leave you alone, but you might have to hand out permits if they're ever out for lunch or something.
Do I have discretion?
Not a chance, sweetie.
She shoots me down with a song in her voice and a spring in her step.
Knowing you, you'd tell them to jump in the lake before ever letting them fish in it.
She's got me there. The musty smell of damp wood wafts into my nostrils as she opens the door.
Ooh, cozy.
Jessie flips on the lights and steps aside.
That's one word for it.
I think it looks nice.
Yeah, it does. My face betrays my sarcasm, though, as a smile creeps over me. It reminds me of a shoebox diorama. All of the space is utilized, and everything is exactly where it should be. From the fluffed-up bed nestled in the corner to the fireplace built with rock. There's not even a TV, just a rocking chair and a lived-in leather couch that sits around the coffee table. Jessie slides her finger down a desk, then squints as she rubs it against her thumb.
Huh, not as dusty as I thought it'd be.
Maybe Ranger Smith liked chugging Windex too.
I drop my bags and frisbee.
Frisbee my hat on the couch.
Yeah. It misses and lands lopsided on the floor.
Not unless he snuck back recently.
The hardwood floor bends beneath my weight as I explore the rest of the cabin, wandering off to inspect the stone fireplace. An unburned log sits in a pile of ash. Cobwebs weave around the well-spent corners and polished floor as if
Swept corners.
Yeah, as if they were intentionally avoided. This place is clean, but whoever the neat freak is must not have any guts. A fuzzy spider trapezes from the ceiling. I look to make sure Jessie isn't looking, then give it a tiny wave as it pendulums in front of me. My voice drops to a whisper.
Hi.
What was that?
Nothing.
With a quick swing, the spider leaps away from me, landing in the middle of a trio of paintings hung on the wall above the dining table. Look at the blush.
the way Jessie just kind of like cut in like that was so funny.
Arranged in a triangle, each painting showcases gorgeous landscapes and scenic vistas, their locations scribbled in the corner. No artistic signature. Yosemite, Zion, Yellowstone. All national parks, and all beautiful. The spider crawls along the painting of Zion. In this one, lush greenery sprawls out into a deep valley below, guarded on both sides by fiery red cliffs and mountains. So that's this one.
Zion.
The Yellowstone painting is of a winding trail spiraling to the top of a mountain. Splotches of vibrant trees are scattered across the rich mountainside. Beyond it, flat plains stretch out into the distance before dipping into a canyon. So that one is, let's see, the winding.
I don't know. That one sounded more like the canyon.
Yeah.
That one on the left, you said was Zion. So which one's Zion?
Okay, so Yellowstone painting is of a winding trail spiraling
This is the only one I see that has a trail.
Yeah.
I don't see a trail in this other one. This one has a trail of vibrant trees.
I wonder if I can go back.
Probably not.
Oh, I can't go back.
I don't know.
Okay.
Unless this is... I don't know. I don't know.
Well, this one does say beyond it, flat plains stretch out.
Yeah.
So it must be this one.
I
This
don't
must be a
know.
trail. or
Let's
else-
continue and see what the last one says.
And finally, above them is Yosemite. Okay, so above them is Yosemite. This is the only one that could be Yosemite then.
I think this one is Zion, this one is Yosemite. Or, no, it's not. This one's Yosemite.
Yeah, I think so. I know exactly what this painting is of. You only need to take a few steps outside to see it. It's the breathtaking view from the top of Lambert Dome, overlooking all of Tuolumne Meadows. From the thick forest to the Tuluman River that winds all the way to the snow-speckled peaks of the Sierra Mountains. I've hiked there so many times before, I could probably point out exactly where we are. God, I wish I was up there now. I would scream my guts out. Scream until I was hoarse, and no one would hear me.
So what do you know about these 3 parks?
Honestly, not much.
You don't know much?
No, I haven't. I've wanted to go and visit those specific parks before, but I don't really know anything substantial about them. What you doing?
I was hoping you would talk for longer.
Like, I know that Yellowstone has the geysers, and so that's something that's really cool. But I haven't really learned much about Zion or Yosemite, and I don't know too much about Yellowstone. I want to see all of them, though. We need to go on national park road trips.
Let's go on a road trip.
From pictures, you want to say that the left one is Zion.
Yeah, that's what we are figuring from the descriptions, but
Yeah,
then
so...
the Yellowstone description confused us.
Yeah. This one was clearly described by their Zion description, but then Yellowstone threw us off, and we're like,
So I don't see canyons in that right picture.
Maybe over there. And right here is like lower. I don't know.
They were talking about a trail going up a mountain. I didn't see a trail. I don't know, that's weird.
This might be my favorite of the 3, but something feels off about it. After a bit more squinting and head tilting, I decide that this painting is too crooked for its own good. The frame is so off-center that if there were a hiker in this painting, they'd plummet to their deaths. With a soft grip, I grab the sides of the painting and begin to delicately, slowly, gently straighten. Creak!
We heard the creak.
A sharp squeak rattles through the air, so loud I can feel it in the floorboards. Shivers crawl up my spine as I nearly leap out of my uniform.
Jeez, so jumpy.
She's leaning in again.
Giggling, Jessie squeezes past the dining table and rests against the counter.
It's just the cabin settling. This place is old, so it's gonna be a little noisy.
Her voice drops an octave. All that's missing is a flashlight below her face.
Kind of spooky, huh?
Not really.
The cabin squeaks again and my shoulders tense. Jessie grins, thoroughly entertained.
Some of the past rangers stationed here always said it was haunted. Personally, I think it was just something in the coffee.
Maybe they need to get different coffee, I don't know.
She picks up the percolator off the stove and rattles it around. What's a percolator? Percolating is... I know what percolating is, but a percolator? Like...
Well, maybe keep reading.
I guess it's gonna tell me. Flipping open the lid, she pulls out a small bottle of bottom shelf gin.
Our tax dollars, that work.
Just be happy we're not privatized yet. Make sure to recycle this later.
She hands me the bottle and tampers off towards the cabinet. I set it back down on the counter and follow behind.
Question. When was the last time you were at the range?
To shoot? God, I don't know.
Hi, Bongo.
Hey, Bongo.
Hi, Cairo.
Hey, Cairo. Yeah, I guess so. Based off of context clues and stuff, sounds like could be.
Yeah, it sounded like they were storing something in it that wasn't meant to be stored in it, as a means to hide it.
Scratching my head, I think back to the last time I unholstered my sidearm. Despite the faint temptation from being surrounded by obnoxious campers, it's about as rare as an eclipse.
She's like, I'm gonna shoot these
Well,
campers.
I guess. when you dragged us all down there on our day off to practice.
She unlocks the cabinet, leaving the key in as she opens the door. A slender gun leans against the back.
An off day for you guys, maybe. I'd kill to just have one weekend off.
The words slip out of her, and as soon as they do, she glances at me, then the gun.
What is she thinking of shooting her?
I didn't mean, like... You know I won't actually.
Like, she's like, timing is not appropriate in the situation. I steer straight through her as she fumbles around with her words. She coughs.
Anyway, what we have here is your standard issue pump action Remington 870. Also known as a shotgun.
A bright sheen glistens off the gun. Both the butt and the pump are sharing the same glossy wooden finish.
Fancy. This actually doesn't look like it'll fall apart in my hands.
What kinds of guns has she been using? Guns should not be falling apart in your hands. That sounds like a poorly crafted
Imagine
product.
firing a gun and it just falls apart.
Like, that doesn't sound very effective.
Sounds like a grenade.
Well, that doesn't sound very effective either. Like, none of those weapons sound very effective. My eyes drift to the desk radio that was assuredly used by Navajo code breakers in World War II.
Count on the DOI to have their priorities straight. When have I ever turned down new equipment?
Judging by the bedroom eyes she's giving the gun, I think the answer is pretty clear.
Still, this is a bit excessive. I don't need this much heat for grunt work.
A sidearm and a shotgun? What is this? 4th of July?
It's just a precaution. Hopefully you never have to use it. It's not like everyone is asking you to carry it around on patrol, which I expect you to do every day.
Can I do that before sunrise? So I don't have to talk to anyone, ever?
Giving the gun Vegemite just like a true American.
Absolutely not. I will not allow you to be a weird forest hermit under my watch. You need to have some positive experiences,
I don't think
okay?
Jesse got the memo that the gun isn't going to come alive, that the national park is. This is National Park Girls. Not gun girls.
My mind blanks out into a field of static as Jesse's tangent gains more momentum. As my thoughts wander, I start to hear more noises. The creaking of the cabin, the howling of the wind, then actual howling. Wait, actual howling?
It's Goofy's.
If Jessie heard it, then she's ignoring it, as her ranting continues to go places entirely unrelated to my misanthropy. Scratching begins to scuff at the door. At first it's as soft as a whisper, and could maybe even be a branch or leaves, but the longer it goes on, the faster it gets, and soon it's desperately clawing into the wood. I break away from Jessie, tiptoeing to the door.
Hey, don't walk away! I'm scalding!
Shh. Is Eve just losing her mind or something? She's hearing all this creaking and all this other stuff.
I hush her with a finger to my lips. We go silent. Twisting the cold knob, I ease the door open. I ease open the door. Nothing.
See, she's crazy. Never mind.
Dog!
Aww.
Oh, it's cute! Is it a coyote? What do you think it is?
It's a little baby.
Is it a wolf?
Coyote, maybe. I don't know what kind of
A
canines.
yelp squeaks out below me.
I don't know what kind of canines live in. This is Yosemite.
Yeah, I think we're in Yosemite right
I
now.
don't know what kind of canines live there.
I look down and come face to face with the love of my life.
Okay.
An adorable puppy. Its floppy ears barely reaching my ankles, pants in front of me. Its small paws scratch at my boots. Aw.
Oh my god, buddy.
I drop to one knee. My heart melts as I stroke its soft fox red fur.
What are you doing here, pup? Huh? Are you lost?
As if answering me, he gives a tiny howl, but it breaks into a yelp. With a whine, he snuggles into my knee. I'm dead. This is heaven, and I'm dead.
Eve, get away from that!
Sprinting from across the room, Jessie charges at the door. I do my best Matador impression and dive out of the way. Yeah. Wild pup. Jessie stomps on the floor, her boots inching closer to the pup with every loud thud.
Shoo! Shoo! Get out of here! Get!
Pup yaps back, briefly challenging it. But whenever that giant, merciless boot lunges forward, his compact frame lunges back. The fight continues onto the porch, with one last growl of defiance. Pup scampers off into the bushes. His ears poke up above the leaves as he stalks us from the brush.
What the hell? He wasn't doing anything. You scared him.
Good. Maybe it'll stay away then.
I glare at Jessie like she's the devil incarnate, because she is.
Don't give me that look.
I reinforce my gaze with more steel.
Orphaned coyote pup.
Yeah,
Started
coyote.
coming around the camp, and Smith, in his infinite wisdom, decided to feed it.
I glance towards the bush again, but by now he's gone, hiding somewhere in the shadows as the sky darkens. I'll need to set out a dish for him later.
Don't!
Jessie scolds me with a single wag of her finger. Did she read my mind?
I didn't say anything.
But you thought it. And if you have any sense, you'll...
She pauses, glancing up as the last glimpse of sunlight is snuffed out.
I'll lecture you another day. But for now, I have to get back to the station. Before Hernandez eats all the yogurt.
We told him he could eat the yogurt.
With a nudge from her elbow, she starts for the truck.
Yeah. Because that's for me.
I stare down at the scuff marks on my boots, tracked with the dirt and dust from all 1,200 miles of the park. Not nearly as polished or shined as Jessie's, or even that gun.
What's wrong? I thought you loved dirty jokes.
It's nothing. I'm fine.
In the far reaches behind the cover of the trees, I see the orange glow of a campfire. The muffled chatter and laughter of the campers carries from across the woods. A tender smile spreads across Jessie's face. She sweeps me under her arm and into a hug. I think of breaking away, but her gentle warmth is nice. And it's kind of cold out.
You're going to do fine, sweetie.
Yeah, until I bust open the next guy.
I rest my forehead against her badge. The edges dig into my skin.
Hey, don't think like that. I didn't vouch for you because I thought you make the same mistake twice. You're a good ranger, Eve. If more of us were like you and cared more about what's around us and less about our pensions, then the Force would be better off. This will be good for you. If you can straighten yourself out here, then you can do anything. So try to have some fun, okay?
Okay.
I grumble it out. She has too much faith in me. Maybe all of that was true at some point, but now I can take or leave the pension and the land. None of it matters. Not to the wigs at the top, not to the public, and not to me. Jessie swings an arm around my shoulder and walks us to the truck.
And besides, I'm just a radio call away if you ever miss me. I'll call every day to check in.
Yay. Can't wait.
She climbs into the truck and starts it up. The revving of the engine is so loud, I expected to shake off all the rust that's carved itself into the bumper.
No slacking off now.
But you told me to have fun! Fun is slacking off. I don't know if you knew that, Jesse, but fun is slacking off. She drops the keys in my hand and shuts the door. The headlights streak in the night air, beaming against the silhouetted cabin. The window rolls down, all the way down. With a confident smirk, Jessie tips the brim of her hat.
And Eve, you're wrong.
It might have actually been pointed if that was the last thing she said before leaving, but it hadn't even been 10 minutes when she drove back and barged through the door in a panic. She left the key to the station on the lanyard she gave me, and the key to the library, and the key to the toll booth for the south entrance. I swear, Teddy, with how serious that woman takes her work, she has no right to be as airy as she is.
Very.
So relaxing. Glad you're relaxed. Though, I guess I'd start to slip a little too if I were working an endless stream of hours and got as little acknowledgement as she does. After 4 years, it's hard not to respect her. There's not a moment where she isn't on a call, or filling in for someone, or blazing through reports, yet somehow she manages to stay as bubbly as dish soap. How is she able to stay so peppy and motivated? I can't figure it out, and I doubt I ever will. Anyway, that's enough about Jessie. I swear I write about her at least twice a week. Let's talk about my newly assigned post, Teddy. The cabin itself is fine, definitely more my pace than where I was before. The furniture is old, and cheap, and perfect. I'm looking to the last bit of rain for the season, so I can feel the warmth of the fireplace and listen to the raindrops patter against the roof as I doze off on that lumpy couch. If it weren't for the circumstances, it might even be a dream come true. But in the end, I know why I'm really here. And deep down, regardless of her comforting words, Jessie knows why I'm here too. Teddy, the fact of the matter is this. I'm here because I snarked off one too many times, cracked one too many jaws. I can't choke back the last speck of pride about what it is I do, and that makes me a problem. No matter how hard I try, I can't detach myself. Not completely. There's still a small spark, and all I want is to snuff it out. And that's why I'm here. For penance and training. Call it what you will, a new post, a live-in job, but I know what it really is. A purgatory. My pen hovers above the page, inches from carving my thoughts into stone. Once that happens, they can't be taken back. Scary thought. Sighing, I drop the pen and reach for my mug. But instead of the lukewarm coffee I've come to tolerate, all that's left is a brown ring crusted around the bottom.
I'm glad you guys are liking the vibes. And those two, they're such a mood, huh?
I know. It feels very, like, real, right? Definitely, like, could imagine this
feels like an actual thing that could happen.
Yeah, this is it's pretty real feeling.
A little too real.
Yeah, too real.
About people not caring about national parks.
And also people who actually, like, work in the national park system.
How little they're respected and cared for.
Yeah, they really are glorified trash collectors, guys.
Yeah.
I wanted to be a park ranger for a while, until I realized that it was less about educating the public and doing things that I really wanted to do, and more about going around, collecting the trash, repairing things, being a janitor and handyman, and then every so often doing education and stuff like that. Like,
imagine that's where Lotl could have been, was as a park ranger instead of a silly VTuber.
So for a long time I wanted to do something like that until I really realized that it wasn't gonna be my what I thought it was. It wasn't my dream job. So I can definitely respect and appreciate and see how somebody could be very bitter and feel very unappreciated when you put your heart and soul into trying to protect and maintain this land and stuff, only for people to just, you know, leave their junk everywhere, not care, expect you to pick up all the things for them. So yeah, She's not in a good mental place, and park rangers are kind of like this, Mary. Sometimes. Okay. I stretch out my chair and let out the longest yawn in at least 20 minutes. Maybe even 30. I drag my carcass to the stove and pour myself the last of the coffee from the percolator.
Percolator is a
Coffee maker. Steam rises from the mug. The coffee is thick and sludges around like motor oil. Overcooked and bitter. It almost tastes like it too. But I'm not a snob.
Gross.
But I'm not a snob, and coffee is still coffee, even if a gas station could whip up a better brew. And a percolator works as well as anything else.
Oh. More than likely, a percolator's not for making coffee. It's just what she's using to make coffee.
Besides, there's a charm in that, isn't there? Enjoying things that are inferior and outdated. I'm forced to stare at my reflection as I sip the coffee, but it soon turns into a foggy murk, and I can't see anything. It's all that oil seeping to the surface. A gross thought, but it doesn't matter as long as it gives me the energy to keep going.
Why is your coffee oily?
I don't know. What kind of coffee is this? No wonder they were saying that they thought it was something in the coffee. Like, sounds like they got weird coffee. Journaling is hard work. Maybe even harder than working for the Park Service.
Now, come on now.
Originally, it was just a way to get out all of the energy that was bubbling around inside of me. Butterflies, hopes for the future, dreams of making the park experience even better. But that eagerness morphed into a slow realization, and over time, that morphed into whatever I am now. Journaling became time for sharp, focused reflection. It's a good way to cope. Some people drink, some people get high. I complain about everything to a notebook. By now, I have at least a dozen of them filled out. Teddy, volumes 1 to 12. I like to think they all share the same consciousness. The cup warms my hand as I lean against the counter. The wind kicks the cabin, and if I listen closely, I can hear night's nocturnal whispers from outside, chirping from crickets, the steady shaking of leaves. It makes me realize just how thin of a barrier from the outside world this place is. A cramped, fenced-in box. The only thing keeping me from the same darkness that's out there is a few dim lamps. A small choir of laughter and chatter echoes from outside. Reality decides to give me a slap in the face as I open the curtains and peer through the window. A group of 4 shadowy figures trip and wobble through the brush. One of them falls flat on their face. They laugh even harder than before. And speaking of needing a barrier from the outside world, I stomp over to the desk and snatch the flashlight. As I march over to the door, I remember that I've changed out of my uniform into tattered jeans and a flannel. Hardly authoritarian. I reach over to the couch and grab my hat. Better. The brisk air kisses me as I swing open, then switch on the flashlight. I shine the beam right in their faces. They freeze like deer about to be mowed down by an oncoming semi. Their laughter quiets into hushed chuckles, and the only one with half a brain tells them to shut up. One of them stashes a bottle in their coat. The one up front, the smart one, squints at me through the light. His shoulders relax and he throws me a casual wave.
Oh, hey! Are you on break too? Wanna hang?
Dumbass camper.
1,000 more of these kids could mistake me for another student their age, and it still wouldn't stop me from lobotomizing them with my eyes. I slip on my hat and stay silent. The Old Testament fear of the Abrahamic God shadows his face. They all shrink back.
Do you know how many people go missing out here?
What?
I said, do you know how many people disappear in these parts annually?
You sound like you're threatening them.
He looks to his friends for an answer. They shake their heads. He looks back to me and shakes his head. The entire group shakes their heads together.
That's a lot of head shaking.
I'm sorry, I don't...
His hands are raised in surrender, the embers of a cigarette glowing between his fingers.
Another question.
Yes, ma'am!
Our voices bounce across the woods.
Do you know how much paperwork I have to do if one of you so much steps on a pine cone?
Is it a lot?
His friends nod. He nods back.
Yeah, a lot, right?
Let's just say it's more work than you probably turned in this entire semester.
That gets a laugh from one of his buddies. He shuts up as soon as I shine the light on him.
Do me a favor and stumble back to camp, okay? I'd rather not have to explain to my supervisor how you all fell off a cliff.
The two girls hidden behind the others give me dirty looks. The kind idiots give to fast food workers when they're told that they're out of fries. I turn the flashlight up to the highest setting. They all let out a collective groan as they shield their eyes.
Go on, you heard me. You can bum around all you want once the sun comes up.
I point the light at the path back and brighten the way. He takes a few steps back and nods and gives me a gracious nod.
Sure thing. Sorry for the trouble. Have a good night.
I won't, but thanks.
They follow the beam of light back to the path. One of them makes sure to flip me off on the way. I switch off the light as they disappear into the brush of the trees. I hope they all actually do fall off a cliff. Twerps. As I turn to go back inside, a spike of movement rustles in the bushes.
Doggy.
My body goes numb. I freeze, only allowing my eyes to drift over to the source. Nothing. Turning around, I creep forward, reaching for a sidearm that isn't there. I step onto the dirt, the porch creaking behind me. Then the bush shakes with a surge of movement.
Doggy.
A ball of fur explodes through the leaves. Its paws scrape across the ground. Before skidding to a stop at my feet. Breathing out a sigh of relief, I bend over to greet my prince.
Decided to come back, huh? Couldn't resist my charm.
His ears pin back as I scratch the scruff of his neck. He almost looks deranged while I pet, his goofy-looking pupils struggling to center with the whites of his eyes.
You're an unbelievably giant twerp.
An ear flops over. If my heart had strings, you could play the fiddle.
This isn't fair. I might seriously die.
She loves the dog.
She loves the little coyote.
I glance over at the empty food dish near the door. He ate every bite. He has to be sleepy by now. Just look at that belly. It's so round and cute and pink, and I'm going to die from all this. I just know I am. It doesn't take much to coax him in. All I have to do is stand aside and Puff sprints inside on his own, hitting every piece of furniture like a pinball.
I usually offer coffee first.
He nearly somersaults across the floor, and my dusty laugh actually gets some use for once. A gust of chilling wind breezes past me. It lifts up my hat, but I grip the back in time. Strands of my hair fly in the same direction. The trees sway violently, shaking their branches like angry fists. Clouds curtain the last sliver of the moon, submerging the woods in a darkness deeper than any sleep. The cold seeps into the notches of my spine. Shuddering, I rub the warmth back into me, locking the door on the way inside. Like thunder, Puff runs up to me as I enter. Then, like lightning, he bolts back onto the couch. Also, Shori was saying percolator is for making coffee. My mom actually has one.
I see.
That's cool. So it's actually, it's for coffee. I've, never heard of that object, though. I grab a pillow from my bed, then meet Pup on the couch. His front legs stay perched on the back of the couch as he peers over it.
Oh, no you don't.
I snatch him up by the fat of his neck. He nips at my wrist, but it tickles more than anything. I drop the pillow, then drop Pup on top of it. At first he tries to wiggle free, but I keep the pressure on his back. He eventually gets the message and lies down.
I'll get you something more comfortable soon.
My leg brushes against the coffee table as I get up. A stray magazine catches my attention.
Jeez, Jesse, did you leave this too?
A bag of lemongrass tea sits between the pages, acting like a bookmark. Did she not have anything else she could use at that time? Or was she just lazy? The cabin creaks with the blowing of the wind. Pup's ears stiffen in alert as he quietly gazes at the closet door. I look down at the magazine. A map of the park is paired with the article. Every exit to the park is circled in red. Wrapping up your stay, leaving Yosemite. The night breezes right past me. Every time I look up, the clock has passed another hour, and the gap only grows larger. In the corner, Pup gnaws at his ankle. His teeth chatter as he tries to chew the fleas off of his skin. I flip through the thick stack of pages I've written on tonight and weigh them between my fingers. Not a bad way to break in a new journal.
That ambient noise is creepy.
The soothing smell of a fresh primer puffs out at me as I fold it shut. A yawn slips out of me as I shamble over to the bookcase. Light reading before bed is never a bad way to end the night, especially eerie nights like this. Frost has settled around the edges of the windows. A touch of fog strokes the glass, and looking into the darkness beyond is like staring into the black of a pupil. Warmth and comfort flicker in my chest as I run my finger over the spines of every book. Accessing Yosemite, an atlas and guide. Best day hikes, Yosemite National Park. Corruption in the National Park Service. The Yosemite Mafia. Complete guide to the Yosemite National Park. Almost every book, brochure, and magazine here trails back to Yosemite, other parks, or the National Park Service itself in one way or another. Even the few pieces of fiction can't escape it. Novels like The Yosemite or Yosemite Thunder. Looking over the alphabetically ordered books, I start to notice gaps, missing volumes, spaces between books, the kind you see at a library when something is checked out. Things only get more perplexing as I arrive at the bottom shelf. A giant cardboard box sits alone on the shelf, bursting with stacks of paper and folders. Balancing at the very top is a pink folder with bright bubble letters drawn in crayon. Miwok Research. Surrounding the letters are crudely drawn squirrels and toothy rabbits. Some are colored in with precise strokes, never straying an inch outside the lines, but others are so wildly scribbled in, and the trail so far outside the lines, I'm pretty sure an 8-year-old coming off a sugar high could do better. As I reach down to grab it, a drawn-out squeak sings from the kitchen. The distinct sound of bending hinges sends my heart racing into my throat. That wasn't the cabin settling. Pup bares his teeth. A low, vibrating growl rumbles out of his tiny body. He sounds primal and large. Just like earlier, his ears pointed up in the air. He stares at the corner, and I follow the direction of his snout. The closet. Just a skip away from it, the cupboard by the sink hangs open, still easing to a stop. The hardwood floor bends beneath my feet as I walk over. Suddenly, I lose traction. My feet slide out from under me as I slip towards the counter. I yelp, my forehead almost colliding with the sharp corners of the counter. I reach my hand out and grasp it. The edge scrapes across my palm.
That was a little too close.
I give Pup a stern look, but he's still fixed on the closet door.
Did you do this?
For once, I hope the gross answer is the correct one. But looking ahead, a trail of water leads to the closet, and I start to think I'm not that lucky. Muffled clips of noise whisper from behind the door. Heavy breathing, quick bursts of movement, then hushing. My mind flashes back to what Jesse said today. About this place. How past rangers thought it might be haunted. No, snap out of it, Eve. I slap my cheeks and push the idea into the far reaches of my head. There's only one explanation for this. One of those campers from earlier snuck in here somehow and is just trying to give me a good scare. Yeah, that's all it is, of course.
What did I tell you morons about sneaking around?
I project my voice, trying to muster up the same bravado my high school gym teacher always seemed to have.
You're trespassing on federal property. That's serious stuff. Come out now and I won't slap cuffs on you.
The noise stops. I count the seconds in my head, but nothing steps out from the closet.
Fine. Don't say I didn't warn you.
I stomp over to the door, making sure my steps are loud enough for whoever is on the other side to feel. Twisting the knob, I pull it open halfway.
Oh, jeez.
Two pale eyes blink at me, poking out from beneath the yellowing sheet. I slam the door shut. Oh crap, I didn't actually expect someone to be in there. I gasp as a bang rattles the closet door. Another bang, as loud as a gunshot. The door bends from the hinges. I stumble back. My foot slips on another pedal, but I brace my leg. Somehow I'm standing. There's a final explosive bang. The door swings against the wall. Every light in the cabin zaps off. Electricity surges down around me. The sudden darkness forces a scream out of me. I slap my hand over my mouth and swallow back the terror. Damn, they know where I'm at now. I breathe in quick panic bursts. Then footsteps. And through the darkness, the form of a towering silhouette begins to take shape, looming in the doorway. Pup's growl devolves into a series of vicious barks. I stand my ground, puffing out my chest and sticking back my shoulders. Ghost, intruder, bear, whatever it is, it's all I can think to do.
What do you want?
I call out to the lingering shadow. The shape of its head tilts as if asked something unexpected. A voice rings out in the darkness, gravely and dry, but also light, higher than I would expect a demonic presence to sound. Hey, Sundered, welcome. Not that I believe it's a demonic presence or anything.
This is my post. And according to my supervisor, I do.
We do not concern ourselves with the laws of mortals.
We?
A dim glow flickering from the closet, illuminating the figure in a blood red. Water drips from their soaking hair and their bangs shadowing their eyes. They stand unnaturally straight, as stiff and dangly as a corpse. Colorful patterns weave around their leather clothes. Beads wrap around their neck.
Yeah, I didn't know this was a horror game.
A girl? The ghost in the sheets hovered past her, floating in the air. A shiver tingles down my spine as it levitates several feet in front of me. This has to be a prank. I'm getting punked. Jesse and Ernie are in on it.
Leave us to our resting place.
Yeah, I'm pooped.
A high-pitched, energetic voice shouts out from the closet. The tall figure kicks back her leg. There's a yelp as the red light around her flickers for a moment, then reappears.
No!
Thunderous wind hammers against the cabin. Her shout reverberates through the woods.
You're so pecky.
A moan howls from the sheep ghost, muffled by the fabric. It's spooky in the same way a child making ghost noises on Halloween is.
As much as I'd love to, believe me, I would. I can't do that. I'm already on thin ice.
The tall figure stutters, and while I can't see her eyes, I can make out a deep frown.
Are you trying to reason with a vengeful spirit? Do you have any idea how ridiculous that is?
Do you have any idea how ridiculous your request is?
That isn't my problem. Basic instinct prioritizes survival over income. You understand, right? It's not complicated.
Eva's like freaked out, but like, being like, no, screw you, ghost. It's really funny.
There's somebody to be kind of cute though, according to Mary. I mean, so far, yeah, they're definitely cute.
Basic instincts get written over by basic training. Besides, it's not about the money. You're not a very perceptive spirit, are you?
She shouts into her brooding, raspy voice, but it cracks apart and she breaks into a fit of coughs.
Just shut up, okay? Shut up!
The bravado in her voice is all but gone. The vengeful spirit is now merely a frustrated one.
If you stay here, then whatever happens is going to be your own fault.
The red light behind her flares up, tinting the walls with a blazing glow. Pup's bark returned with killing intent. The sheet ghost lunges at me through the air. I spin around, diving for the gun cabinet. Come on, Jesse, come on. Please tell me you forgot to lock it. I pull the handle and the door opens with my momentum. Yes! I knew I could always count on you, Jesse. Remind me to take you out to dinner if I don't die here. The shotgun still leans against the back of the cabinet, undisturbed and untouched. I reach up and grab for it. The metal crushes my chest as I hoist it into position. Adrenaline pumps through me. I push down on the safety, wrap my finger around the trigger. Strands of hair stick to my face as I stare down at the barrel. At my feet, the sheet ghost stares at me, now firmly on the ground, directly in my sights. My trigger finger shakes. I shake. The temperature of my blood plummets, and my body freezes with cold sobriety. This isn't what I wanted from this job. I never wanted to hurt people. To point guns at them, or punch them in the face. All I wanted was to protect... The fabric draped over the ghost stretches back. Pup dances around its feet, his tail wagging as he tugs away the sheet like it's a game of tug-of-war. The sheet falls to the ground and I finally get to see what, or rather who, is attached to those wiry legs. Like a burglar caught in the act, she stands there, wide-eyed and trembling. Leaves rustle off her tiny beige dress, but there always seems to be more stuck to her. Even her long, brushed-out hair has twigs and leaves shaped into a wreath, resting on top of her head. But more interesting than all of that are a pair of wings protruding from her back, feathery and white like an angel's in a painting.
A kid?
And a little one at that. I could scoop her up in both arms if I wanted to.
What on earth do you think you're doing?
The shadowy ghost stomps across the floorboards, making a beeline directly for me. Panicked, I shift the gun to her, but she's already towering over me.
Not another step.
Her green eyes glare at me. In their intense anger, they almost seem to glow as she grips her hand around the shotgun. I close my eyes and let my voice tumble into a shriek.
Get away!
I pull the trigger once. Twice. Nothing. That can't be right. My eyes snap open just in time to see her wrestle the gun from me.
I thought they taught you guns better than to go around and point these things at people.
She moves to remove the bullets from the chamber, except there are none.
And if you do, then make sure they're loaded. Did they hire you out of pity?
I glance back into the cabinet. A small box of shells sits discarded in the corner. Of course. I slept further onto my back. This is it. I'm dead. Probably what I deserve. The little girl, paler than the sheet she was wearing, looks up at the bigger ghost. Her eyes swell with tears.
Yosemite!
She lets out a timid squeak and dashes behind her bigger friend. She wraps herself around her legs, content to stay only half hidden as she sniffles.
I don't want to do this anymore. Zion.
She brings the little one in closer and frowns, watching small tears trickle down her cheeks. From far away, she looked like a creature from a horror movie, unnatural blue hair with frosted white tips, her entire body drenched in that red glow. But after seeing her up close and watching the concern wash over her, she almost seemed like a normal girl. Almost.
Zion? Yosemite? Just who are you people?
And yes, Bungo, you can't waifu a freaking vengeful spirit.
assuming that she's a vengeful spirit or something, but she's seeming a little sus about that.
Sus.
Her head twists back to me. My shoulders tense up. I scoot back, but there's nowhere else to go.
Silence, mortal. You've haunted these grounds long before you were here.
The red light from the closet fades away. The lamps surge back on, along with the rest of the power.
And we shall haunt them long after you've returned to the ground.
She pauses. I blink at her. She blinks at me.
Yellowstone?
Yeah, boss?
The closet answers back.
Yeah,
Wanna
boss.
tell me why the lights are back on?
Well, 'cause I flipped them back on, duh.
I can see that, but why?
I slowly reach for the gun. One chance to take it back. Maybe even the shells, too.
'Cause the jig's up. She's not buying it anymore.
A teenage girl springs out of the closet. Her clothes are a colorful array of pastel, and her bright twin tails bounce up and down. She'd be the most normal looking out of all of them, if not for one distracting detail. Sprouting from the top of her head like a mountain erupting from the ground is a giant cone. Flattened at the top and various shades of brown, it reminds me of a volcano from a child's science project. Is it a costume? A hat? It looks like it blends right into her hair.
See? She's already getting ready to flip your lid.
The bigger one glances back at me. In my confused daze, I've completely forgot about my hand hovering over the gun. Rolling her eyes, she yanks it away and slides it to the other end of the room. She squats down. With a flat stare, she gives me a flick on the forehead. A dull pain ripples through my skull.
I know you're eager to take my home away from me again, but let me sort this out first. Okay, gunslinger?
I soothe my forehead while grinding my teeth into fine powder.
No, not okay. How about you try doing that again?
A slimy grin squirms across her face, and she raises her hand again, thumb and finger ready. I brace for the next flick, but before it can come, Pup hops to my rescue and lunges at her ankle. She stumbles away in time, but Pup stands his ground, in front of me, snarling.
Good boy.
What did I ever do to you? I give you belly rubs and everything.
She whines. Pup howls. I think I love this little guy a little more with every passing minute.
Zion, sweetie, can you keep the fluff ball at bay for me?
Imagine being mortal. Right? Goddess friends?
Right. Imagine being mortal.
Yeah, imagine being mortal. Mary, if only. If only.
The little girl, who has since retreated to the kitchen with her other friend, gives a quick nod.
Okay.
With intense focus, she flaps her little wings and drifts across the room, patting her lap as she calls for Pup.
Hey, boy. Wanna play?
She puckers her lips to whistle, but only air comes out. When she realizes that won't work, she clicks her tongue. Digging into her hair, she untangles a twig, then waves it around for all to see.
I grew a new stick for you. Please like it.
I grew a stick for you. Please respond. Pup's head snaps up. His snarl melts into a smiling pant as he dashes over, completely forgetting about his duty to protect me.
This was a disaster.
The tall girl pinches the bridge of her nose and sighs.
No small part thanks to your lack of commitment.
She turns to the one in the kitchen, whose head is bobbing back and forth to a silent melody.
I was tired.
What a mood. She slumps over the counter and groans.
Oh, we've done this like 1,000,000 times. It's the pits.
We do it because it works. That last guy rarely stepped foot in here after we gave him a good scare.
So, they really did think it was haunted.
That's because it is. Now go away.
They're like, we haunt this place. Go on.
She's different. Dollface over there put up a fight.
Dollface? I'd be annoyed if this weren't so confusing.
I don't like her.
You don't like nobody.
You don't like her. You love her. You just don't know it yet.
She's Snoopy.
This is Snoopy. She gives me a suspicious eye. The feeling is mutual. Conehead grabs the tea kettle from the stove and skips over to us.
That's kind of why I like her.
She flips open the kettle's lid and holds it up for her tall friend. The tall one wrings out her hair like a wet rag. Water, more than any sponge could retain, flows into the kettle. When she stops, the water is near the top and her hair is bone dry. What the hell?
Well, I'm glad you feel that way, even if it's incorrect.
Fumes begin to wisp out from the opening at the top of Conehead. A red glow crackles beneath it. No, seriously, what the hell? Delicately, she balances the kettle on top of her head.
Lemongrass again?
Please, and don't sneak sugar in it this time.
Steam begins to rise from the spout of the kettle, followed by a simmering whistle. The whistling gets louder and the arguing drags on. Pup barks as he rushes across the room to fetch the stick. The steam grows thicker. And as the noise builds and builds and builds, I feel my blood boiling in my veins. Any fear I had has been suppressed by the intense need for some peace and quiet. For some clarification. For something to actually make sense for once. I climb to my feet and draw in as much air as my lungs can take.
Will somebody give me some answers?
The chatter fizzles out. The winged girl shrinks back, hugging Pup close to her chest. The kettle sounds like a train whistle. All eyes are on me. Finally.
Now, will one of you tell me who exactly you people are? I've never heard of a ghost that can touch people. Or one having wings? Or whatever that thing on your head is. Are they costumes? What is your deal?
The leader of the three scoffs, then turns away with folded arms.
Oh, is that all you wanted to know? I could tell you that much.
Hey! Don't tell her our secrets!
Cool ya jets. I'm just gonna tell her who we are. But first, I want to know who she is.
She looks up at me with a big expectant grin. The other two stare, awaiting an answer to spring from the stiff silence.
My name is Eve. I'm a...
Ranger?
I work here.
Satisfied with my non-answer, she gives an affirming nod, the kettle bouncing on her head.
Howdy-o, Eve. Nice to meet ya. In case you didn't catch it, I'm Yellowstone.
She points to the wall with the paintings.
This Earth Angel is Zion. She's a cutie pie, and I love her lots.
Zion's pale cheeks turn red as she gives a little wave.
Love you lots, too. And then there's Yosemite. She's like our big sister. I love her lots, too, even when she's being a crab.
Yosemite says nothing. I glance at the paintings and pair each one with the girl.
So, are you each named after a park? Are they nicknames?
Yellowstone tilts her head and blinks.
No.
She points to herself.
I'm Yellowstone.
She backs away and rushes over to Zion, hugging her from behind.
This is Zion.
She runs back to Yosemite and smacks her back. I can practically feel the loud slap as Yosemite nearly leaps out from her skin.
And this is Yosemite.
Somehow, the kettle stays balanced on top of Yellowstone's head through all of this. I try putting 2 and 2 together, but I keep ending up with 5.
So, what are you saying? You are the Parks?
Her face scrunches in thought. The steam evaporating seems like it could be coming from her brain itself. She looks to Yosemite for answers. Yosemite nods.
Sure, that works.
All right, I'm radioing my supervisor.
But why?
Told you no one would understand.
I don't know how you're pulling off these magic tricks, but trouble is trouble. And you 3 are definitely that.
Waifu Parks. You're I need to clean my brain.
Everything gets turned into waifus. Don't you remember, like, the boat waifus? The ship waifus? I don't even remember what it's called.
Yeah.
And now we got National Park girls.
I spin around and start for the desk. Panic warps Yellowstone's face as she switches between me and Yosemite. The kettle whistles above her until finally she decides to hand it off to Yosemite.
1 sec.
Gun waifus.
Fruit waifus.
Huh? Fruit waifus?
Someone also said fruit waifus.
Oh. Fruit waifus.
She snatches my wrist. The fumes from her head puff behind her as I try to pull myself away.
Let go!
Browser waifus.
Do you just not believe us?
I don't believe you, I don't trust you, and most importantly, I don't want to deal with you.
My feet drag as I tug her behind me. Her grip is surprisingly firm. With each step, she squeezes harder until I can feel her fingers pressing into my bone.
What if I can prove it?
Don't bother. Just get your painting and the rest of your stuff. We need to go away for a while.
She ignores Yosemite and keeps pulling, digging her heels into the floor. Her grunt gets more pained as she wraps another hand around my forearm.
Please! Just a chance!
Look at the face. Our conga line passes Zion and Pup. Pup's tail wags as he looks at her, waiting for scratches and pets. Zion looks up at me with her big, sorrowful eyes that only seem to get bluer as she gets sadder. Pup paws at her dress. His ears flop. The single heartstring inside me tingles. There's that fiddle again. I sigh, stopping before Yellowstone can yank my arm from its socket. I just love that puppy too much.
30 seconds.
Yellowstone smirks. A twinkle sparkles in her eye. Gripping my wrist tighter, she turns to Yosemite.
Back in a jiffy.
Back in a jiff. Wait! Yellowstone!
Static crackles through my vision. The ground gives way beneath me and I plummet down. Further and further, falling towards nothing. Hopeless dread washes over me like a smoldering wave, or a smothering wave. And then, darkness. Howling wind blasts through my hair. I hear leaves rustle as the air whips past my cheek.
Cheek.
My legs dangle below me. I look down. I wish I hadn't. Far below me, a thick forest sprouts from the jagged sides of a mountain. Hundreds of feet of air between me and the bottom.
Unappropriate
Hey,
response.
how's it hanging?
I look up to see Yellowstone peering over the cliff, still holding my arm. The moonlight spotlights her gigantic grin.
Oh, God! Cool view, right? Do you believe me now?
I flip my head in all directions, but all I see are far-off silhouettes of other hills and mountains, all of which look like anthills from up here. The scream finally breaks through, louder than I knew I had in me, higher, too. It travels far into the distance.
Help, pull me up! Whoa, stop moving so much! I'm gonna lose my grip!
Don't let go! Don't let go!
My body swings like a pendulum. I grip Yellowstone's hand tighter.
Aw, you don't like it?
No! No, take me back!
She whines, puffing her cheeks out as she pouts.
Jeez Louise, don't flip your wig.
I'm pulled upwards like I'm being sucked up by a vacuum. The wind tunnels around me. And then I'm back in the cabin. The warmth feels like a hug and my legs feel like jelly. I drop to my knees and catch my shallow breath. Yosemite paces around the room, stopping in her tracks as soon as she sees us.
You! Is your brain made of mush? What were you thinking?
Yellowstone sticks her arms out like the wings of a plane and spins around the room. Zion giggles as Yellowstone circles around her. Pup sits I can't talk. Pup sits Pup sits impatiently below them, his tail sweeping back and forth across the floor. What even was that?
I don't know.
Apparently it was something terrifying. You just like got sucked into like teleported. It seemed like teleported, sucked up, and then deposited in the middle of like the air.
Well, have a good night.
Have a good night. Thanks so much for coming and hanging out.
Yeah, thanks for hanging out.
Feel free to come back and watch the VOD and pick up where you leave off right now so that you see more of what we do. I don't know how long we're going, but like this is good. I like it. This is probably one of the best visual novels. So.
You've read a couple that you really
Yeah,
liked.
there's been a couple I've really liked, but I've been really enjoying this.
Good.
This was a really good suggestion, Sunderd. This was suggested by Sunderd.
Oh, it was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Heck yeah, will do.
Yeah.
Good night.
Good night.
But yeah, that was definitely a death-defying experience. Alright. Yellowstone sticks her arms out like the wings of a plane and spins around the room, giggles and circles around, and Pup sits impatiently below them, his tail sweeping back and forth across the floor. Stop it!
Huh?
Stop it!
You read all this.
I can make her believe, duh. I think it worked out pretty well.
She's just sliding across the screen.
Does she look well to you?
Oh, the love. My teeth chatter as I try to warm myself. I'm shaking. My entire body is shaking.
I was here, and then I wasn't, and now I'm... What the... Oh god.
She needs help. She's losing it. The plane runs out of jet fuel and Yellowstone stops.
No, but I thought we could finally...
Listen to me.
Her voice is sharp and serious. Zion winces. She squats down and grips Yellowstone's shoulders, meeting her at eye level.
What if something happened? What if she got lost or hurt? What would you have done then? Or worse, what if something had happened to you? There's a reason I try to keep us hidden. You know what they're capable of. What they can do.
And with the voice acting, that means less work for Lotl. It's true. I still feel like I'm reading a lot, but it's really nice to be able to have the voice acting.
Yeah.
Like, the voice acting's really good. I'm very happy with that. She mutters to herself.
Of course, that's all out the window now.
The cheerfulness leaking out of Yellowstone seems to have dried up. Yosemite's grip on her loosens, and she shrinks away.
Guess I messed up pretty bad again, huh?
Yosemite just gives a deep sigh. It reminds me of a disappointed parent. Zion tugs at Yellowstone's hand.
I think you did a good job, Yellowstone.
Zion, being all sweet. Yellowstone gazes down at her with a sad smile, then squeezes her hand back. A long yawn squeaks out of Zion, high enough that only the tail end of it is audible.
Looks like someone's sleepy.
She rubs her tired eyes and nods.
Mm-hmm.
Yosemite combs her fingers through Zion's fairy tale hair.
Get her ready for bed while the human and I negotiate.
Okie dokie.
That's the saddest okie dokie I've ever heard.
I'll be right there to tuck you in. Might even tell you that story about the swallow you like so much.
Swallow story? I don't remember that one.
For a moment, Yosemite freezes. Then she shakes out a chuckle.
No, of course. Why would you?
That's weird.
There's some backstory there.
That's weird. Leading her by the hand, Yellowstone pulls Zion along to the bathroom. Pup trots along behind them. When the door shuts, Yosemite turns back to me. Her posture stiffens, perfectly straight in all business as she walks over to me.
You alive?
She towers over me like a giant sequoia. I feel her footsteps vibrate beneath me as she gets closer.
Just leave me alone!
I crawl to the nearest corner and hunker down, using one of Zion's fallen branches as a shield.
Relax. I'm not actually going to eat you. Whatever you think I planned on doing.
Well, thank you for joining us for a little
Yeah,
while.
thanks for coming and hanging out, Katsali. Have a
Yeah,
great rest of the night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
I hurl the branch at her. It skims past her shoulder.
I don't care. Just go!
A lump catches in my throat. I look at the mess that's been made. The streaks of water on the floor, the tossed away gun, and the open cabinets. I take a look at the whole cabin, small and homey, but I still know what it's really for. It's a purgatory. A sanitarium to clean me of any lingering pride. This is my punishment, and if that's the case, then maybe it's not actually a purgatory. Maybe it's actually hell. I bring my head to my knees and keep it there.
Hey, are you okay? I'm sorry about that stunt she pulled. Yellowstone always gets too excited for her own good.
Her voice softens, sounding more like she's talking to Zion than a foolish mortal.
Just leave. Please.
I swallow back the emotion, but my voice still cracks.
I just want today to end. I'm tired.
She swoops down in front of me.
Well, you're in luck, because I have a truce to propose.
I look up from my knees and sniff. Yosemite is inches away from my face. She gives me a gentle grin.
I'm listening.
Get right down to it. We're exhausted too. It's been a long day for us. So how about we let you sleep here for the night, and then, in the morning, you can call your supervisor and send us on our way.
You think I'm dumb enough to fall for that? You'll murder me in my sleep.
In the time it would take to strangle you, I could read half of an entire book. Why waste my time with it? Besides, wouldn't you rather not have 3 trespassers wandering the park at night?
She's not wrong. I have the campground to think about too. If they started causing trouble with the campers, then this could spiral even further out of control.
Look, just take the olive branch. I'm trying to play nice.
I think about it for a moment. How I might wake up being smothered by a pillow. How I might not even wake up at all. Or if I do, how they might not even be here at all. But it's dark and late and my brain is slush and fog. So I humor her.
I'm not going to get a bullet to the face while sleeping, am I?
Only Neanderthals use guns. I think you're proof enough of that.
Wow, rude. It's an insult, but she chuckles. It's not very funny to me. I think again.
And I get the bed?
Her joking smile is stripped away. She sighs.
I guess there are sleeping bags around here. So what do you say? Do we have a deal? Or is this night going to get even longer?
She extends her hand, and for the first time I notice her ears poking out from under her hair. Both are slender and pointed, with tips as sharp as daggers. I don't know who these people are, or even what they are. But I do know that I need some damn sleep. I grab her warm hand and she hoists me onto my feet.
You've got yourself a deal, but you're out of here first thing in the morning.
A warm wetness slops against my cheek. Humid breath sticks to my face. My eyes crest open and drift to the edge of my bed.
Puppy.
With his front paws perched on the comforter, Pup continues breathing in my face. His wild tongue dangles below his jaw.
It can't seriously be morning yet.
He pushes himself off the bed and scampers away, sliding across the floor like it's an ice rink. Childish giggles fill the room, and the now familiar sounds of wings flapping like an overworked engine follow. Zion huffs and puffs her way around the corner. Pup runs behind her. I couldn't have slept for more than an hour. The nightstand clock seems to confirm this as foggy memories of me glancing between it and the intruders tucked away in their sleeping bags come back to me. 3:30, 3:45, 4:20, 5 o'clock, and finally 6:30.
I can't help but feel like they put 420 in there on purpose.
I wouldn't read too much into it.
Uh-huh, sure.
I feel like Goldilocks if she tried sleeping on the beds and the bears were hibernating in the corner. Just testing her luck until she eventually gets mauled. I peel myself out of the bed and draw shut the curtain that divides the room. When I'm done changing into my uniform, I slip back out and catch a whiff of something delicious.
Good morning, Miss Eve.
Zion stops playing with Pup to give me a courteous bow. Through the open window, a bluebird flutters in and rests on her shoulder. I already wish I was back in bed.
Rise and shine, Eve who works here. Catch all your Z's.
Yellowstone peeks out from the kitchen, whisking a bowl in steady circles. Once again, a kettle rests on her head.
They must have slipped through my fingers.
Or out of your mouth. When you aren't shifting around, you sound like a broken trombone.
I glare over at the table. Yosemite is chin deep in a book and sifting through the pages. Papers litter the table, some sprawled out like a shuffled deck of cards, others stacked into leaning towers. The cardboard box sits right in the middle, acting as an eye to the storm. Without taking her eyes off the book, she raises a coffee mug into the air.
Yellowstone. Tea.
Just a jip.
Yellowstone power walks over, balancing the bowl in her arm. She tips her head and pours the water. From the kettle to the cup, the process is delicate like a ballerina bending into the shape of a swan. Nonetheless, through the teetering and tottering, the kettle stays balanced on top of her cone head.
Want me to replace the bag? It's pretty much water now.
Don't be wasteful. There's still some flavor left.
Fine, fine.
Yellowstone gives a defeated sigh. The same one I give every time I have to tell someone, yes, you need a permit to fish.
How about you, Eve? I saw you chugging coffee last night. Bet you take it black, huh? You seem like the type of cat who takes it black.
There's a pause as I try to get a handle on the stitched together combination of English and slang. A Frankenstein of language.
With a little sugar, actually.
Dang, thought I had it.
She snaps her fingers as she returns to the kitchen.
Oh well. Papa Squat, I'll get you a cup.
Papa Squat, does that mean sit down?
I guess.
I haven't ever heard Papa Squat before.
Hi, Nee.
Hey, Nee. How are you? I think it means sit down.
Squat a what?
She doesn't know either.
Permit to fish? Outrageous, Lotl. I thought this was a free country. I didn't even want to fish, but I'm outraged.
You need a permit to fish, okay? Are you saying that phrase is common, Me? The Papa Squat?
It's like the other phrase that you didn't know the other day.
Squatta. A what?
She means sit down.
Oh, yep, okay. I was right. I was right.
No can do. I have my job to take care of. Patrolling, permits, calls.
Tattling on us.
Her eyebrows bounce up as she takes a sip of her tea.
Priority
that's
number
actually
one,
not what
I
Papa
assure you.
No?
I mean, I guess it can mean to sit down, but usually it's to defecate.
Oh my goodness.
So I was looking up, I'm pretty sure I've only ever heard it used to mean, like, take a poop. I wasn't sure if it was ever used to mean take a sit, to sit down.
It makes sense as a sit
But
down, though.
I looked it up and that's
like...
what it says on the internet.
The internet's not always right. I mean, somewhere on the internet's probably right. But they already said it what it was, so they've defined it. Alright, priority number one, I assure you. Yeah. Hey, Sundered, you got a license to be bad-mouthing the country? Okay. I give her a phony smile that lapses into an eye roll.
Funny? Phony.
What?
You said funny smile.
No, I said phony.
You said funny.
I think you're phony. Alright. I hope she sees it. She's right, though. Completely slipped my mind. I guess when it became clear that they probably weren't going to kill me, my mind started drifting to more abstract questions.
You can do all that later. Just breathe in that fresh morning air for now. I'm making flapjacks.
She's making pancakes.
Actually, I want that really delicious waffle from that
Why?
one place.
Why was that? Why is this yay?
She doesn't like them,
She's
I
like,
guess.
she's like,
a kid.
meh.
She's a kid. Kids don't like certain things.
Except her quiet cheer doesn't match her solemn face.
Don't worry,
a waffle.
cutie. I'm making you a veggie omelet.
I want a waffle from that one place.
She wanted a veggie omelet. Her downtrodden face lights up, hopeful but cautious. You want a what from what place?
A waffle from that one place.
Oh yeah, that waffle.
It's a good waffle.
It was a good waffle.
Just kind of waffles in general.
Will you use the mushrooms I picked the other day? I can if you go get them for me.
With an excited nod, Zion shuffles off to the closet. And where Zion goes, Pup follows. The bird does too.
Remember to wash them!
Yosemite calls out, but neither answer. Zion digs around in the closet. Yellowstone hums to herself, out of tune and off key.
Fine. Don't cry to me when your stomach starts growing fungus.
That sounds like it's happened before. The frying pan sizzles in the background as everyone goes about their morning, swept up in their routines, while I'm swept to the side, with not a whole lot else to do except fear for my life, and let's be honest, there's not a whole lot left to fear for anyway. I grab my notebook and sit on the table, or at the table. Since it's round, I have no choice but to face Yosemite. If it bothers her as much as it bothers me, then she doesn't show it. She grabs a blank paper from a wobbly stack and starts scribbling on it, constantly referring back to her book. Sharing a meal with a person or thing that tried to run me out of my post doesn't exactly thrill me. Having to stare at them the entire time, even less so. Still, I make an attempt to clear my mind and start jotting down the events from last night. But my uniform is tight and restrictive and squeezes around my joints like a python. My writing is similarly uncomfortable and stiff, reading more like a report to Jessie than a deep emotional expression to Teddy. Not that there's much of that left in me anyway. The assailant exited the closet. The perpetrator wrestled the gun from me. These are just a few examples. It's accurate, coherent enough to get the information across, definitely, but just dry enough to be vague and frustrating. I experienced it, and even I hardly know what happened.
Alright, I would like to call for a intermission. I need to use the bathroom. I need to get some water. water.
Okay.
So, intermission time. I need a moment.
Alright, intermission time!
Intermission.
Oh, what should we do during the intermission? Or what should I do during the intermission?
You can do whatever you want during the intermission.
How long you gonna be?
I don't know. I just need a moment.
I'll play ukulele, guys.
Okay. I'll be back.
Ah!
You're broken.
I was just attacked by a candy. Okay, I need to make that stop. Oh wait, I still hear it though. Oh, I guess I can just take this out of my ears.
Yeah.
Alright, solve that problem. I was like, I turned off the desktop audio for you guys, but I didn't hear, but I still had the sound in the background and stuff. What's up, Mary? So like what? Yeah. Yeah, Yosemite is, pretty cute, for sure. I know. I really think that the design is really, really pretty. I wonder what they did to decide of like how they would look and the ages and stuff that they've got, because clearly they're all very different ages, and I'm wondering if that has to do with how long the parks have been established or something. So the oldest park might be Yosemite, but I'm not sure. Let's look it up. Yosemite National Park age. Established 1890. And then Yellowstone. Yeah, that one's older. So I don't know. My theory has just been busted immediately. That would be a fun cosplay. I lost my window. There it is. Yeah, that would be a fun cosplay. She's really cute. Funny thing is that the main character girl, park ranger, in real life, you just make those eyes brown and totally could look like that. Just gotta braid my hair and stuff. Wear a park ranger outfit. So I could cosplay that real easy. I used to think maybe you love me, now baby it's true. And I just can't wait till the day that you knock on my door. Every time I go for the mailbox, gotta hold myself down, 'cause I just can't wait till you write me you're coming around. I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, I'm walking on sunshine. Oh, and don't it feel good? Yeah, don't it feel good? Didn't play the full song because like my throat's starting to get a little A little dry. I think you have to start reading. It's your turn to read.
I'm still in intermission.
But yes, random song. I hope you enjoyed. Sorry, it wasn't the full song though, because like, didn't realize that my nails are like getting kind of long. It was kind of hard to play my ukulele. I have to cut my nails.
I have a snack.
My goodness, snacking on stream.
Technically now I'm on stream. I wasn't on stream.
It doesn't see you chewing very well. Make sure you move your like your lips a little bit so that Is this ASMR?
I don't know if they can even hear my snacking.
I just know ASMR is like so in. There. Oh, I want to crinkle it. I'll crinkle it. Crinkle, crinkle. You are feeling very relaxed right now. This is how it works. Crinkle, crinkle.
Stop that.
Relaxing
Stop that.
crinkles.
Stop that. You're a menace. Take a bite out of this near the microphone.
That's weird though.
I don't know if those sounds are going through very well. I'm feeling very dead inside now. I don't think that's how it works.
I feel like the caps made your sentence all the more passionate. So Sundered, if it was if that made you feel very dead inside, was that like because it was just such high tier ASMR you just couldn't handle it?
Cancel Lotl's ASMR career. Yeah, they weren't into it at all. They didn't think it was good. To be honest, it probably just sounded like loud crinkling in their ear. Like this. I'm crinkling it in her ear for you guys.
Stop that!
Yeah. It sounded great, didn't it?
Oh, I don't know what series fauna is. Does my singing count as ASMR?
No.
People find that relaxing, though.
Not everything is ASMR. If you say it's ASMR.
I don't even know what it stands for. What does that even stand for? I'm so knowledgeable on this topic. It sounds like a YouTuber. She's a VTuber. Second gen of Hololive EN. Oh, okay. Everything is ASMR now. Oh, she's Mother Nature. I mean, actually, I guess I'm not necessarily Mother Nature. Autonomous sensory meridian response. I think I might have. Yeah, I've heard that before. I've known this, but I definitely did not remember it. Good
How
job.
has the volume of everything been tonight? Has the music of the game been too loud? I feel like I've been very quiet all night, looking at our mic and stuff.
We're finally drinking things. We only had one hydrate redeemed. It's now raining on the stream.
I turned the soundbar on for the best spot.
Mm. Alright. Where'd my earphones go? There they are. Alright, your turn to read. I've been doing relatively scuffed reading all night.
It's just gonna be hard for them to hear me because I'm so quiet. I'm so far away from the mic.
You can pull it closer.
How's this? It's right in front of you now. Can you hear me better now? I think you can hear me better now. Can you still see well?
I died. I died! Actually, I just fell asleep. I didn't actually die. But I became...
The death of Miss Law.
I became narcoleptic. There we go. There I am. I'm back!
Wow! Wow, wow. Okay. Hell, I hardly know what they are. They aren't ghosts, and I'm an idiot for buying that, even for as briefly as I did. But they aren't quite human, either. Although, after their ears and wings and volcano heads, they may as well be people.
Some sugar or sugar.
Yellowstone sets down a cup of coffee in front of me, the trail of grainy sugar still swirling around in it. There's an explosive pop from the kitchen. Smoke plumes above the frying pan.
My flapjacks!
Her flapjack!
She rushes over like an overworked waitress at a diner and lowers the heat. And me? I feel like a traveler exploring the cosmos. I found an alien society and everything they do is fascinating and how mundane it is.
It's not polite to stare. If we freak you out that much, you can turn around. Or leave. That would work too.
You'd like that, huh? For me to leave you alone so you can just keep mooching off this place.
Are you expecting a no? All the other goons always ran off to the outpost down the road as soon as they caught wind of us. Only ever came back if they had to get something. And never alone.
Any of that sympathy from last night has evaporated with the steam from her tea. All that's left is her condescending smirk. It drives me nuts.
I really like her
Well,
braid.
I'm not like the others.
I did too.
Thank God. It doesn't take much to scare the apathy into them.
But not you, huh?
I'm open to suggestions.
Hey, Toto. Yeah, it is fully voice acted.
Hi,
It's
Toto.
really nice.
I throw back the coffee like it's the nastiest double shot this side of happy hour. The scalding liquid funnels down my throat. Then I surrender to my journal. Yosemite watches me with a focused squint.
What's that? Official report to the head goon.
Octo? What? Toto Octo friend.
Is Octo?
I didn't see. Not as far as I knew.
Yeah, the music is also really nice and peaceful. It's got a great, soundtrack.
Mm-hmm. The lead at the tip of my pencil snaps under the force, leaving a skid mark streaking across the page.
Journal. Sorry to disappoint.
Her ears twitch at the mention of journal.
What kind of journal? For documenting information? Studies?
Just a journal. I use it to wring out the last few drips of dams I give. Keeps me anchored to reality.
I look up at her, tracing my way from her black roots to her blue hair, down to the frosted white tips. Her hair looks like a waterfall pouring over a cliff.
And boy oh boy, do I need that.
Somehow mixed up
Mix
octopus and turtle.
turtle.
You really like the music? That's good. It's nice and soothing and calm. She deflates as if I'm the one responsible for sucking out all the wonder and curiosity in this world.
Suppose I should be proud of you, though.
I keep writing. Don't bother looking up.
After all, how many of you suits actually know how to write?
God damn it, I can't help myself.
You think we're dumb?
I think you're uneducated.
Look, I'm not wild about my coworkers either.
Glad we're in agreement.
But give us some credit. Or at least give me credit. You know what a school is, right?
Something I assume you didn't go to?
No. For me, school was years worth of crap I had to sludge through to even get a sniff.
And was it worth it?
The question is like a splash of cold water to the face. It forces me to decide on whether I want to give the easy answer or the answer that lurks in the back of my heart.
Popular opinion is a giant no. It might be if people cared, but they don't. And even if I thought it was, if those people are the ones I'm protecting this land for, nothing will ever make it worth it.
Yosemite yawns, her face slumped against her cheek in boredom. She returns to her book.
Wow. I was almost expecting something insightful.
Don't like the answers? Don't ask the questions.
It's not the answers that bother me. It's the rotten little mind behind them.
Lightning cracks between us. We glare at each other in silence. My eyes will roll out of my head before I blink.
You two can duke it out after breakfast. Time to chow down.
Freaking Yellowstone. Yellowstone swoops in with 2 platters of fluffy, stacked pancakes. A thin slice of butter slides across both of them, melting down the sides and mixing with the syrup. I poke at the pancakes with my fork. Is it poison? It seems safe. In fact, it looks delicious. Like a picture ripped straight out of the menu before you get the real soggy thing. Cutting a pie-shaped sliver off, I dip it into a shallow pool of syrup that's accumulated at the side of the plate.
Yellowstone is amazing.
Why not? If it's poison, at least it's gonna taste amazing. I take the plunge. Warm sugar drizzles down my tongue. The rich butter oozes out the pancakes as I chew. There's a hint of crispiness from the slightly charred rings around the sides of the cake, balancing out the taste of the sugar. It practically dissolves in my mouth. I swallow.
Holy crap.
A moan slips out of me, almost a gasp. It would be embarrassing if this weren't so shocking. Or delicious. Oh my god. Yellowstone giggles.
Like it?
Your eyes have twinkles in them.
They do! Unable to resist, I dive in for the next piece. I nod as I talk through the food.
Yeah, it's sort of amazing. How did you even...
I'm basically the chef around here.
She beams with a proud smile.
And the maid, and the dishwasher, and the laundry. You could say that I'm a jack of all trades. Master of them, too.
I'll say. What did you even put in this?
Poison.
Trade secret.
Suspect.
Yosemite flips to the next
It's
page.
brown butter.
No fear!
A dark cloud of steam trails out from the opening in her head. I think I smell sulfur.
Well, whatever it is, it's delicious.
I wash down the shock with coffee.
Thanks.
Yellowstone's eyes grow to be as large as the platters the pancakes are on.
You really mean that? Thanks?
Would she prefer I tell her to piss off?
Yeah. I was just planning on living off canned sausages while I was here.
Tears creep to the corner of her eyes, a whimper, then a geyser of water erupts from her head.
Whoa.
Oh, Smoke. I didn't think being complimented would feel so good. You're a good gal.
The water umbrellas over her as she moves in for a one-armed hug. Not overly fond of hugs or getting my uniform soaked with tears before work or touching, I scoot away in my chair.
You do that too, Mary? Have
that
a
gives me an
kind of
idea.
water explosions?
She bounces back like a spring. The whiplash gives me a concussion.
What if, and stay with me here, instead of us leaving or you leaving or anyone leaving, what if we just live together?
Oh my god, we could be roommates!
Absolutely not!
Like last night, but every night.
Just give it a think. We already have a solid setup here. We could keep the place nice and tidy while you're wage slaving away all day.
I'm too stunned to outright decline with any kind of resolve. Shameless naivety, the kind tied with a bow and given to you, is impossible to answer with harsh realism. It's genuine and it's familiar. And if the food will always be this good, maybe the idea isn't what, Eve? Isn't going to happen? Because that's the only thing it is. Remember why you're here. Look outside, look at the land you love, and look at the scavengers that stomp over it. Now remember why you're here.
I'm only here because it's my job. Last I checked, woodland sprites aren't on the payroll. The pancakes were good, but I'm still radioing this in.
Yellowstone's excitement is snuffed out like a candle. Look at Yosemite, she's so shocked.
Aw, I thought it was a pretty good idea.
Yosemite heaves a small sigh of relief.
Stop scaring me like that. I've had more than enough of Miss Misery.
Before I can bite back, Zion scampers up the Yellowstone, the cutting board. The bluebird from earlier picks at the dried mushrooms that line the board.
Does that mean we'll have to find a new home?
She stares down at the mushrooms dejectedly, but Yellowstone reassures her with a smile.
Don't worry! Yosemite knows a lot of neato places to hide. We can just trust her to take care of us like always.
We'll be back soon. She won't last long.
She leans into the table and locks eyes with me.
It's the eyes. They're almost as dull and lifeless as the others.
I don't give her an inch, remaining flat and unblinking.
The flapjacks are gonna get dull and lifeless if you don't eat them soon.
Yellowstone shuts Yosemite's book and scoots the platter forward. Like a sponge, the pancake has absorbed most of the butter and syrup. With a futile grasp, Yosemite stretches for the book, but it's just out of reach. She sulks, then stabs the pancake with a fork.
I was reading that? Now I'll have to find my place again.
Too smart for a bookmark?
Smarter than you.
We both take a bite out of our pancakes. Between chewing, I give her the fakest, most plastic grin I can manage, forcing the dimples into it hurts. She does it right back. It's like staring into a twisted funhouse mirror.
It ain't a big dealio. Your brainiac butt has read all those books at least 50 times by now.
It is a big deal. You'd be surprised by how much you don't pick up on the first time around.
Her gaze drifts over to Zion, who is now crouched down with Pup, letting him sniff the mushrooms. A touch of sadness flashes through her eyes, and for the first time I notice the bags under them.
Or how much you forget.
Too bad Eve isn't sticking around long enough for us to use her credit card. We've ordered tons more books. And groceries. More fresh veggies, please.
I'm sorry, what?
Yosemite sips at her tea and shrugs.
Just be happy you goons are useful for something. They usually cancel the card after the first couple charges.
I try to choke back a chuckle, but it comes out as a snort. This probably isn't the kind of stuff I should condone, but the image of someone like Ernie opening their monthly statement to see an unexpected charge of $600 brings me more joy than it probably should. And honestly, screw Ernie. Tugging at Yellowstone's jacket, Zion raises the cutting board, up as a reminder.
I'm gonna croak from hunger.
Yosemite winces at croak.
Please stop teaching her your second language.
But Yellowstone ignores her. She bends down and takes the board, her expression melting into one of complete adoration as she gushes over Zion.
Sorry. Do you want spinach on it too? Mm-hmm. Don't cook it with butter though. Too much MSG. Huh? You sure? I want you to have enough energy to go hiking with me later.
I don't think so. After you're done here, there's a whole lot of cleaning up you have to do.
Give me a break. I just swept the other day.
And now the kitchen is a disaster zone. Clean before we leave.
Grumbling to herself, Yellowstone slouches back to the kitchen.
Maybe things wouldn't get dirty so quickly if you actually rinsed your dishes.
What was that?
Nothing, Chief.
Yosemite returns to her book, occasionally picking at her pancakes. When she's positive Yosemite isn't looking, Yellowstone pokes her tongue out at her. It's weird. I wouldn't expect some kind of hierarchy to exist amongst them, but Conehead and the Pixie seem to revere her like a big sister. All that's missing is her flipping through a nature magazine while hogging the phone. Girls still do that, right?
Must be pretty gripping if you can't tear yourself away from it for more than 5 seconds.
It's not. Just some accounts from a miner that passed through these parts a long time ago. But it helps.
With your research?
Her brow furrows, and she gives me a side-eyed glance.
Want to tell me how you know that?
You have a folder that literally has research written on it. Wasn't hard to put 2 and 2 together.
Look, it does math.
Does facial reconstruction too.
She pinches her eyes shut with a groan.
I knew your snooping would be an issue.
Don't get your yoga pants in a bunch. I didn't actually see anything.
I stuff from the pancakes. I lean back in the chair and melt. I don't know how much butter and sugar she put in those things, but my uniform feels like a button might pop off.
Gotta say though, I'm curious what someone like you could be researching.
Yosemite pushes up against the table. A gleam of excitement colors her face.
You're curious?
Excitement clouds into suspicion.
Why?
Just Stam?
Being so close, I get a good look at her defined, pointed face. No loose skin, no flab, not even puffy baby cheeks, baby fat around her cheeks. I can't
Can I get
breathe.
some personal space here? I don't want to catch your personality.
Damn it, if I squint hard enough, she's actually kind of cute. She pulls herself away and goes silent.
My curiosity is waning.
Shut up.
Biting the bottom of her lip, she glances back and forth. She sighs, then closes her book.
You see Yellowstone's head?
Her voice droops to a hoarse whisper as she leans in. I do the same.
How could I not?
What does it look like to you?
What does this have to do with any...
Just tell me what it looks like.
A volcano? It looks like a volcano.
And can you guess what has a volcano?
Yellowstone National Park, obviously. But volcanoes don't actually look like that.
You're not going to get anywhere with that kind of linear thinking.
She moves on.
And look at Zion.
Baby cheeks! I do. She hovers in the air, keeping the omelet out of Pup's reach. Leaves float off her like autumn.
No, this isn't coyote food. It's not good for you.
See those leaves and branches? Pretty lush, right?
Sure.
Remind you of any particular painting?
She points her thumb at the wall. I glance back and admire the painting of Zion National Park, with its deep greens and mix of fiery reds and beiges.
Wait, are you saying...
Starting to get it?
My mind skates to the obvious.
Yeah, the 3 of you like playing dress-up. Real cute.
It's amazing how you keep finding new ways to disappoint me. Let's try this again.
I ignore the snark dribbling out of her mouth. After all, disappointing people is second nature at this point, myself particularly. Yosemite scoots against the table. She points at her face, specifically the freckles dotted across it.
Are you giving me permission to slap you?
I'm giving you permission to learn. Now touch it.
Closing her eyes, she sticks her chin out and waits, like someone expecting a kiss. I start to reach out a hand, but an overabundance of caution keeps me from going any further. What if this is some kind of trick? She tried to scare me away, didn't she? What's stopping her from biting off my finger? It would be the first time someone has tried that while I was on the clock. I shudder as I remember a man's blistering, bloodshot eyes. He had been delirious, caked in pine needles and mud, with tattered clothes. No telling what he was hyped up on. After Jessie made sure I was okay, she shrugged. Takes all kinds, she said. Yosemité's nose wiggles impatiently. I decide she's probably harmless, and waking up alive is good evidence for that. Even if we've only tossed verbal punches at each other, she was the one who offered a truce. And that has to mean something. I can't shake the suspicion completely, but I do reach out and brush my hand over her cheek. A gravelly and rugged texture scratches my fingertips, where her freckles should be. It finally clicks with me. These aren't freckles at all. They're more like scales or pebbles glued to her face. Just to make sure, I sweep my hand up and down her face, between the patches of pebbles. Her soft skin glows a flushed pink.
Said to touch it, not to caress it. Jeez.
I grip one of the pebbles between my fingers and tug on it. Instead of it ripping off, Yosemité's skin is stretched right behind it. She pulls away. Hints of tears glisten at the corners of her eyes.
You didn't have to be so rough.
My mouth hangs open as the confusion bounces around like a tumbleweed in my head.
Is that rock?
Well, it sure isn't costume jewelry.
Whining, she soothes her pulsing cheek. I twist around and look at the top painting in the pyramid. Lambert Dome. I saw glimpses of it on the drive here. If I stepped outside, I could see it now. And every time I've ever climbed up there, it's been gravelly and it's been rugged. Most mountains in the Yosemite Valley are. I think back to Yellowstone's explanation from last night. It's ridiculous. It's absurd. It's basically fantasy. But if there's any other explanation, then I can't think of it.
Your Yosemite National Park.
Dear God, did I actually say that out loud? Out loud? Am I going crazy? Is that what's happening? But Yosemite gives a satisfied nod, and I'm convinced that I've taken a one-way trip on the crazy train. I'm riding this locomotive off a cliff. Emphasis on loco.
Now you're starting to get it. Finally.
I try to choke out more words, more questions, but they dissolve into breathy stutters. Yosemite looks on with an amused smirk. Faraway laughter and chatter breaks through the confused silence. From outside, I hear the snapping and crunching of twigs and leaves. The voices get louder and pass the cabin, then taper off.
Just what are you? What are you really?
Yosemite smirk fades into a frown. Her eyes scan the mess of books and paper and stay there. Her hand grips the table and her nails dig into the wood.
You don't know?
I hardly believe the genuine shock in my voice. I'm not actually buying this garbage, am I?
That's the winning question, isn't it?
She slinks back in her chair, breaking her razor-straight posture. She sighs, drawing in a deep breath, but releasing it as a quick puff. Her frown relaxes into a smile. It's a soft smile, the kind people have when they're nostalgic, or thinking about a family member that isn't around anymore.
Do we not know? Or do we just not remember?
I can do without the cryptic crap.
It's anything but. I'm telling you what I know. And what I know is that I'm Yosemite. Just like they know how they're Zion in Yellowstone.
Okay,
Did I say that
sure.
out loud?
But how do you know?
How do you know that your stomach rumbles when you are hungry? Did someone have to explain the concept to you?
How long have you known?
I don't know.
Have you always known?
I don't know.
Do you know anything?
If I knew anything, I wouldn't be trying to figure it out.
She shoots up out of her chair and glares down at me. Her voice cuts through the air like a dagger. Her little outburst throws the room into silence. Yellowstone coughs from the kitchen. Pup's tail spikes up in alert. I stare back, pretending to be unfazed, but secretly I'm tense. My muscles flex against my uniform. In the thick of the silence, Zion tiptoes over to the table. She latches onto Yosemite's hand, her own tiny hand only managing to wrap around 3 fingers. Wordlessly, she gazes up at her with pleading eyes. Yosemite's sharp face softens back to that solemn smile. Her hand engulfs all of Zion's. She strokes her palm and fiddles with her fingers. Zion gives a ticklish giggle.
I have these fragments that pop into my head. Bits and pieces of a language I don't know. Faces I don't recognize, but seem familiar.
Her voice shakes, hovering above a whisper, breaking at the end of words.
And whenever I think I figured it out, and it's on the tip of my tongue, I forget.
She shuts her eyes tight, as if trying to envision these things herself. Her grip around Zion's hand tightens, but Zion doesn't pull away or even wince.
They're like echoes that ripple further away with each new epiphany. It just gets quieter and quieter. It's so frustrating.
The words strain out of her through gritted teeth.
But if I can figure out just what we are, where we came from, then maybe I can finally remember.
She opens her eyes, and they look older. It feels like she's staring right through me and gazing at the paintings hung on the wall. Like I'm just another obstacle getting in her way.
So yeah, I don't know anything, but I'm going to.
Oops, I right-clicked. I guess I'll hit save because it's here.
Probably good.
Well, good for you.
I was wondering how we would save, and then I accidentally did that. The way she's always staring at me is unsettling. Is it a simmering anger? Reluctant curiosity? I don't know, and if I knew it was good for me, I wouldn't care. I whistle for Pup. He bounces over in a moment, and in a moment of impossible patience, sits at my feet. He looks up at me, his sad brown eyes connecting with mine as he licks his chops. Now there's a stare I can care about. I tear off a piece of my leftover pancake and toss it at him. Springing from his hind legs, he leaps into the air to snatch it. It bounces off his nose, and instead of any amazing acrobatic display, he twirls in circles until he finds it on the ground. Bravo. Across the table, Zion stares, pouting.
It's just a treat. It's not gonna kill him.
The group of voices from earlier echoes back from outside, rowdier and louder than before. And they're a ways away, but I can still pick up on the occasional gratuitous curse and obnoxious laugh. Drunk already, kids? Of course, who am I to judge? A couple more months on this job, and I'll be investing in a flask to give my morning coffee the extra kick it needs. Ranger Smith may actually end up being my life model. Praise be to Smith. Yosemite eyes the window.
Friends of yours?
No. God, no.
I scoff, but it comes off sounding more like a hiss.
A day on the job where I don't have to deal with those hellspawn tracking their carbon footprint in here is a day well spent.
That's what I thought.
She chuckles to herself. It reminds me of how snide some of my college professors were, their latte in their hand and their head up their ass. She swipes away a strand of sweat that drips down her cheek.
And what, pray tell, did you think this time?
That I was wrong about you.
I devote myself to Pup, picking off more pieces of the pancake to give to him. Whatever I can do to make it look like I'm not paying attention to her, but always making sure to keep her within the corner of my eye.
Last night, I could have sworn I saw some conflict swimming around in those dead eyes of yours. Sniffling in the corner, crying about just how tired you were.
Unzipping her jacket all the way, she starts to fan herself, but that slight breeze doesn't cool down my simmering blood. It's like she's trying to roast me until I burn. What gives her the right to pry, to poke at me until I spill my guts? I'm not here to be judged.
The only conflict last night was you three. Of course I'd be tired. Why do you care?
Because I'm tired too. Tired of you people prioritizing that ranger image, so people don't realize you're actually hired thugs. You're just one branch on a tree that doesn't even care about you. A bureaucratic arm I'd rather see cut off than fester. You're not here to educate. You're not here to preserve. Not unless preservation looks like a permit. No. You're here to protect the bottom line. To shake people down when they just want to get away from the hell you've created. To make sure there's enough resources intact to vacuum money up when your masters come calling. I've seen your type before. You don't care. Putting on that dumb hat just makes you think you do.
You're wrong. I was different. I actually did care, right? There was never any glory in this, just the slow descent into misery. Unless that's where the glory is at. Pride for being a glorified security guard. Pride for being a glorified security guard that doubles as a janitor, cleaning up the messes of the only people lower on the totem pole than me. Because the only thing that separates me from them is, what, me caring enough to be miserable for it? But of course, if I'm miserable, that means...
You're right. Maybe I don't.
Can you click that? I bend over and pat Pup's head. He paws at my leg for more, but I stand up.
Maybe caring got too hard. Maybe it wasn't worth the pain it caused.
I take several steps, stopping at her chair.
There is one thing I care about, though.
Sweat runs down Yosemite's cheeks in streams. She pants heavy breaths, her chest heaving in and out.
Getting you the hell out of here. I'm radioing this in.
That's right, Eve. Do what you have to do. What you should have done all along. I start for the fossilized radio on the desk, but Yosemite shoots out of her chair. Zion cowers back.
Go ahead. Do it. Prove to me you're just another...
Her voice dissolves into a breathy air. There's a solid thump. When I turn around, she's sprawled out on the floor.
Yosemite!
Before I can even connect the dots, Zion and Yellowstone are already on her side, at her sides and on their knees. Yellowstone grabs a stack of papers from the table and fans her. Zion squeezes her hand. I race back over and bend a knee. Heat radiates from her like an oven. I press my hand against her forehead. As soon as I touch her skin, my hand burns. I yelp and pull away. It feels like I just touched a skillet, and the burn seared through a layer of skin.
A fever?
Zion shakes her head.
A fire.
Yosemite opens her eyes, glossy and unfocused. Her breath pumps in and out as she fights to get up.
Don't move. You'll make it worse.
It's... close.
She lets out a pained groan. A small hole burns through her jacket sleeve, orange embers crisping around the edges. It sizzles like a cigarette being snuffed out. Like a cigarette.
Oh no.
I swing open the door as I rush onto the porch. The faint smell of smoke tickles my nose, maybe just a campfire.
Not good.
Popping back into the cabin, I snatch my hat and pull it over my head. Yellowstone glances back and forth in compulsive panic, mumbling words of comfort to Yosemite. Zion sniffs back a few tears, then looks at me with wavering calmness. Her tiny voice cracks a little.
How far is it?
I don't answer. That familiar smoky smell, harsher than a chimney, drifts into the cabin. I'm not sure what's going on, and I'm not sure how they know what's going on. But after these last 12 hours, I'm not taking any risks.
Get her to the couch. And whatever you do, stay here.
But Eve, we can...
I run outside, slamming the door before Yellowstone can finish. As I sprint down the path, swatting away the branches and leaves, my eyes start to burn like they've been open for too long. But no matter how many times I blink, that poking sting doesn't go away. A crowd of voices yell up ahead, all shouting over each other and all scared.
Put it out! Put it out!
I'm doing what I can. Now stay back and quit crying. What do we tell you, man? You just had to be the rugged mountain man.
He's like 2 steps away from being shagged.
He didn't do it on purpose.
Oh, jeez.
I finally tear my way into a small clearing circled by trees, just big enough space for morons to cause trouble. A patch of blazing red dances on top of a pile of twigs beneath the tree. The fire branches out on both sides like a trail of dynamite, splitting into a shortened feed. The trunk of the tree is blackened with soot. A group of familiar campers, I only recognize them by their jackets, stomp on the knee-high flames, all their faces twisted in fear. The one I talked to last night swats his green jacket over. Like that's going to make any difference now.
What the hell is going on here?
Most of their faces go sheet white, and for a moment they forget about the fire. The kid with the green jacket just keeps swatting the ground. Yet whenever he lifts it back up, the flames climb that much higher.
You! 3 seconds to tell me what happened.
I point at him, and this time he manages to pull himself away. He turns to me, his eyes red and watery from the smoke.
We were...
1,
I thought it put it out.
2,
I didn't mean to.
3.
Get out of the way, before your jacket catches.
I march over and shove him into his friends. He doesn't resist, stumbling into their arms like a limp scarecrow.
All of you, get away from here. Back to the campground.
They watch me with wide, vacant stares. If I were a truck driver, I'd have mowed them down by now.
Move it!
What is she gonna do all by herself with this fire?
All except one nod and start tripping their way through the woods. The kid with the green jacket stares at the growing fire, his knees quivering. His little girlfriend glances back and cups her hands over her mouth.
Come on! Let her take care of it!
He shakes himself out of it and wipes his eyes as he runs off into the woods. My attention turns to the fire. Stomping on it would just submerge me, waist deep in the blaze. The base of the tree trunk ignites, and the embers float down onto the scattered path of twigs that make lines for the surrounding trees. I dig my boot into the ground and kick clouds of dirt onto it. Speckles of embers are snuffed out, but the fire remains just as tall. Unstrapping my walkie-talkie from my waist, I press the comm button and speak into it, though to whoever is listening in, it probably sounds more like an anxiety attack.
To Illuminae Station, this is Ranger Adams. We have a situation behind the cabin post. 1070, I repeat, 1070. Get dispatched to send out a fire unit.
A broken voice crackles through the static.
To Illuminae Station, do you read me? To Illuminae Station!
I look around and realize just how caged in by these trees I am. I didn't finish.
Oh, sorry.
I glanced over at the chat in the middle of that. I don't know what it said.
I don't know how to go back, but I think you were mostly done.
I didn't notice a fire extinguisher at the cabin. The station is less than a mile away. If I ran, I could warn them, but with how quickly this thing is getting out of control... I scan the clearing. Snow is still on the ground, half melted and tossed around in random splotches. It's not a lot, but it could work. I scrape up as much snow as I can sandwich together. Clots of black dirt stains the white. It feels like dry ice in my hands.
The crackle sound effects is good.
Yeah. I toss it over the fire. Most of the snow melts in an instant, but a section of the fire is extinguished along with it. For a brief second, relief washes over me, but just as fast it's ripped away. The fire flares up, engulfing more of the tree. I wince as the heat kisses my skin, the flames getting closer. A forest fire on the first day. Wonderful. Taking 3 nervous steps back, I glance over my shoulder. If running to the station is the only way, I guess I have no choice. My legs bend and I take my first giant step, but before I can take another, a shrill voice breaks through the woods.
Eve!
Yellowstone launches past the trees and into the clearing. Branches and leaves cling to her clothes. She skids to a stop, her eyes locking onto the fire.
Okay, so that's happening.
What are you doing here?
Eve! There you are!
She offers a stiff salute.
We're here to help!
Her voice is muted, buried under the crackling of the fire.
We?
Descending from above the trees, Zion flaps her wings as she glides down to me, stopping to meet me face to face.
You can't do this alone.
I told you to stay at the cabin.
Miss Eve, if this doesn't get put out soon, there won't be a cabin.
Her usual meek voice rings with a mature clarity. Like an untamed weed, The flames shoot up taller. Branches look like candle wicks. Smaller flames snake to the surrounding trees, lighting the very soil aflame. I hate to bring non-park personnel into this, but she has a point.
Fine, but as soon as things start looking hairy, I want you to get out of here.
They give hurried nods. Good enough for me. Congrats, girls. You're deputized.
Gather up as much snow as you can and dump it on the fire. Dirt works too, but don't give the fire any extra fuel.
I didn't expect things to escalate like this, no. Though I should have assumed
Yes, ma'am.
a story about a national park would involve a forest fire at some point.
They kind of alluded to it at the beginning, too.
Yeah. We all scramble to work. Yellowstone and I search for scattered piles of snow. We scrape them up by the armload and drop them into the fire. The snow evaporates before our eyes. Zion flutters up to the peaks of the trees, shaking any branches that are still coated in white. The snow crumbles away, smothering large portions in the flames. Sounds like sizzling bacon. But as helpful as Zion's effort is, it only puts out the connecting trails of the fire. The second tree crackles as flames spread up the bark, then the next tree. Smoke is harsh and oppressive, flying right into the back of my nose and filling my lungs with buckets of burning air. Squinting is the only way to see through the pain. I expect my eyes to shrivel up in their sockets. Through a fit of pain coughs, I call out to Yellowstone and Zion, hoping the two blurry watercolors in front of me are them.
No good. We need to get out. ASAP.
Wait! I have an idea!
Save it. If we stay here, we're toast.
The blur that I'm pretty sure is Zion ignores me, turning to the Yellowstone blur instead.
Yellowstone, you know I love you lots, right? Of course I do! Love you lots too! But the fire! I know! Which is why I'm really super sorry for what I'm about to do. Please don't hate me.
Oh no, what's she gonna do?
Huh? How could I ever hate my Earth Inc?
Zion raises up her tiny leg and stomps down on Yellowstone's foot. The snapping of branches and crackling of fire isn't enough to disguise the crunching I hear as Zion digs her heel into Yellowstone's
She's
toes.
gonna make her cry!
She had water coming out of her volcano head, remember?
She's gonna make her cry!
There's a broken whine. The pain is delayed.
Why?
The high-pitched whine cranks up a frequency, growing as sharp and piercing as a fire alarm. A few sniffs, and it dissolves into bawling, shrieking straight into my eardrums.
It's super effective.
I go from shielding my eyes from the smoke to covering my ears to drown out the crying. The brain-rattling shriek pierces my skull. Water bubbles from the opening on Yellowstone's head, boiling like a pot on the stove. With the explosive power of a gunshot, a geyser of water shoots out of her head, spraying into the air.
Whoa, 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 what?
Good. You're doing great. Just keep crying. Oh, try!
Yellowstone keeps the long-form sobbing going. The water sprinkles down on me, cooling me off in the midst of the hellish heat. Wait, that's it.
I hear you loud and clear, kid.
I shoot Zion a thumbs up. I have to give it to her. This is a smarter plan than anything I can ever come up with.
Yellowstone, aim for the fire.
Okay.
Sobbing like a child lost in the supermarket, Yellowstone obeys, bowing her head down and blasting the geyser at the burning trees. Zion latches onto Yellowstone's waist, guiding the gush of water to the flames. It reminds me of a firefighter aiming a fire hose. The swaying red and orange shrinks as the water splashes down on it. Bit by bit, the fire dies down. Smoke lighter than the gray plumes that choked the air only seconds ago blankets the clearing with a layer of mist.
We need to stop soon.
Yeah, the roaring of the flames quiets into the snaps and pops of a campfire, until all I hear are Yellowstone's hushed whimpers. Her tears in the geyser have dried up, as simple as twisting off a faucet. The three of us hack out our lungs, retreating from the smoke so we can get a better look.
Is it out? Did we get it all?
Yellowstone brushes away the remaining streaks of tears.
Looks like it.
I scuff the heel of my boot against the dirt, just in case there are any stray sparks.
Yellowstone!
Zion tackles Yellowstone's legs, snuggling her face into her jacket.
I'm so proud of you. You did really good out there. You were so, boss. That's how you say it, right? Gee whiz. You really think so?
She wraps her arms around Zion and brings her in for a hug.
You did pretty swell out there, too. That was some quick thinking.
I crack a smile, and how can I not? We just stopped this whole section of the park from going up in smoke. Also, these two might be adorable. Still, I can't help but shudder at what would have happened if I weren't there. Or weren't here. And it's all because of those punks, another group of careless campers. If it's not painting on rocks, it's hunting without a license. If it's not hunting without a license, it's somehow starting a forest fire in the biting cold of early spring. My smile, that small burst of happiness, is short-lived. A glowing sense of duty lights up my gut.
Sorry. As you go and trudge your way to the
Don't read
clearing.
ahead of me unless you're gonna read out loud.
Sorry.
I'm struggling.
Thanks for the help.
You make the dyslexic
You
girl
two need to get
read
back to the cabin.
out loud on stream.
Where are you going?
To snuff out another fire before it spreads.
The rage stews inside me, building like a pressure cooker. I storm out of the woods. Pup's howls yelp out from the cabin as I pass it. Of course this would happen. Of course it would. How could Jesse think things would actually get better here? Why would I even humor that optimistic junk? After all this time, I should know better. I should know how these people operate. I should know every thoughtless bastard tells themselves they aren't the problem, and that once the boat won't hurt anything. How the old men grumble without permits and feel entitled enough to throw their empty cans of beer into the lake, because a sliver of their 6 figures are tossed to us, like tossing leftovers to dogs. It's not enough that I'm beholden to the greed and laziness of bureaucrats and the drooling masses. The land has to be too. Its vivid lushness, airbrushed with greens and yellows, and on those dewy autumn mornings, the brown and oranges of harvest. The salt and pepper mountaintops with their rushing waterfalls. From the impenetrable Rockies to the harsh beauty of the Badlands, to the sparkling shores of the Pacific and Atlantic. It's just another resource to exploit, to profit off of, to enjoy and then abandon. If that's how it's going to be, if that's the world we've built, let me be the first to try and knock it down. When I get to the camp, the brat pack is huddled in front of a tent. It shakes and blows with the wind, held down only by sticks driven into the ground. They speak in anxious whispers, unaware of my presence. The kid in the green jacket puffs away on a cigarette,
Really?
running his fingers through his messy hair.
Really? After starting a forest fire, they're still smoking? Wow. How dumb are these people? Wow. No wonder she's like had it up to here with these people. Jeez. Sheesh. Like, get out of here. Go get
Let's
lost
see what
in the
Eve
woods.
says.
Oh
Let's
my
see what Eve
goodness.
says.
Don't get lost in the woods because that's
Come
more
on.
paperwork.
Come on.
Jeez.
Come on. His girlfriend is the first to see me charging over. She mumbles his name, but by the time he notices me, I'm already up in his dumb face.
That's right. Get up in his dumb face.
I nab him by the collar and yank him from the safety of his grip. I twist his shirt so my knuckles press against his cheek.
That's right. Yank him away from his group. Jerk.
Move on.
I've had a lot of idiots on this job, but you must be a real protege.
Like the splitting of the Red Sea, his friends clear a path around him.
Whoa, take it easy, lady.
Take it easy.
As
You
I
just
said,
set the forest on fire!
This guy is like 2 steps away from Shag.
Do you know how unethical this is?
Unethical? Fire!
Yeah, almost as bad as arson. Wanna report it?
That shuts her up. I'm not going to lose any sleep because I've dangled my slice of authority over these idiots. Not now.
What was rattling in that skull of yours, huh? You a firebug? This what gets you off? Or are you just stupid?
This moron with his ironed-out, wrinkleless brain can only find it in himself to stutter as he shakes a pack of cigarettes bounce around in his breast pocket. She called him smooth brain.
That's what I thought.
I tug him closer. He swallows, his Adam's apple brushing against my fist.
Listen here, you little shit.
This is more cursing than I expected, but also understandable.
She's not a Karen, she's the one working, unless you mean like the girl who's like, you can't be like this. I think you're talking about the girl who's like, you can't do this.
Yeah.
Finally, he breaks out of his catatonic state and struggles to pull away. This just pisses me off more. I snatch the lit cigarette from his mouth and crumple it up in my hand.
I said, listen!
Respect my authority!
The cigarette singes my palm. I hardly feel it thanks to the adrenaline. Maybe this is what finally puts the fear of me into him, because he gasps. Audibly, the last of the smoke wisps out of his mouth.
Do you know how sick I am of this? How often I have to sit by and watch people like you destroy good things? Does it even register? Is it some kind of game?
My throat clenches and my eyes sting like tears. I blink it away, but my unclouded vision only shows my fist clenching his shirt. There's an awkward silence as his friends glance away. Even he starts to wince, but I only grip it tighter.
What gives you the right to burn the last few pieces of dignity this scarred husk of a rock has left? To raise any proof that we were once humble enough to live and breathe and die with the world we got dropped into? Before we got so tied up with ourselves, we felt the urge to make a distinction.
Man, just take that whole paragraph in. I feel like that's a really powerful paragraph. What gives you the right to burn the last few pieces of dignity this scarred husk of rock has left? To raise any proof that we were once humble enough to live and breathe and die with the world we got dropped into. Before we got so tied up with ourselves, we felt the urge to make a distinction.
His eyes swoop up above me and linger there.
Answer me! Tell me I'm not just a bandage for your arrogance!
I was just trying to start a campfire with a cigarette, okay?
A bird caws. For a moment, all I hear is the wind. Tears fall absent-mindedly from my cheeks. A campfire with a cigarette. 4 years of pent-up anger, forgotten passion, frustration, and confusion. It all comes rocketing out of me as I swing my fist at his face.
Oh, here we go again!
A hand grips my arm before I can connect.
That's enough, Eve.
I spin around, seething with fury. Yosemite stares down at me. A little worse for wear, but tall and straight like a sequoia. She towers over the campers. They look like shrubs in comparison.
You've already chewed them out. They were just about to leave anyway.
Her voice is stern and certain. She scans the group of campers, her steely gaze punctuated by the residue of sweat that sticks to her cheeks. They each give an affirming nod. The kid in the green jacket wiggles out of my death grip, and the whole lot of them scramble further into the camp.
Yes, Sunder, this is a very good suggestion.
Why the hell would you do that? They're just going to call...
She envelops her arms around me, then pulls me in for a hug, My hat blows off.
Thank you. I needed to hear that.
What?
Her voice is a whisper that caresses my ear.
You've done enough. At least for today.
I've done enough? I hear that and go limp.
Aw, she needed to hear that.
Over her shoulder in the thick of the woods, I can see the cabin, nestled under the pines like a forgotten paradise. The citrus smell of lemongrass sticks to Yosemite's jacket. Her skin, while no longer feverish, is warm like an embrace from a blanket. The image of the cabin blurs as my breath shakes, and for the first time in maybe 4 years, the tears aren't angry or frustrated or confused. Only sad. I can finally let them be sad.
I just wanted to protect what I love.
Yosemite gasps, as if her breath had been sucked away. She pushes her head down, pressing it against her shoulder as she strokes my hair. I cry into her jacket, the tears dampening the hide and leather.
You're a fool.
She chuckles, and I can hear the soft grin in her voice.
But maybe we need more fools.
The tears keep coming, so much I think I might choke on them. While each breath I draw and every sob I take, my throat gets tighter. Maybe it's trying to wring it all out after all this time. To be commended like that means more to me than approval or a pat on the back from Jessie. Validation, it's acknowledgement, that even if what I'm doing is meaningless, I've still devoted myself to it and suffered. Maybe that suffering isn't entirely worthless after all. And as Yosemite holds me while the wind howls through the branches and the larks whistle above us, I start to think maybe it's worth it to hold on and suffer for just a bit longer. These girls look like good friends.
Just listening to all that gives me a headache. How on earth did you find so much trouble on your first day?
Jessie's voice pops with static over the headphones. I turn away from the radio back to the girls. Yosemite dusts the corners, inspecting for even the tiniest speck. Zion rubs Pup's pink potbelly in front of the roaring fireplace. Yosemite jots down notes on whatever scrap piece of paper she can find on a table littered with them.
I guess I just have a penchant for it.
But still, to just stumble on a fire like that.
She says it with a phony curiosity that seesaws with genuine concern. She suspects something, and she's trying to goad it out of me, as sly as ever, Jessie.
Well, in any case, I'm just happy you're safe. We got awfully lucky with this one.
With all this wind, you better believe we did. It could have been an even bigger pain in the neck.
A pain in the neck is still a pain in the neck, Eve. Still going to be sore when you're hunched over all that paperwork.
The first few sentences are so layered with subtext, I'm not sure where my exhaustion for having to write it ends, and Jessie's lament for having to read it begins.
Yeah, I'll see if I can get around to that.
You'll have it for me the next time I visit. Maybe if you're nice to them, someone at the other station will transcribe it for you.
Sunshine beams through her sadistic voice. I can feel the hand cramps already.
But Eve?
The mood turns serious.
Are you sure there isn't anything you want to tell me?
Not a thing.
Okay then.
She moves on from it, though I'm not entirely sure she's convinced.
In that case, I'll talk to you tomorrow. And the day after that.
You really don't have to.
Oh, but I want to.
Over and out, Jessie.
She giggles.
Over and out, Eve. Arnie, get your grubby hands off my trail mate!
The radio cuts out into static, leaving my ruptured eardrum to recover on their own. I set the headphones aside and turn to see everyone at Yosemite looking at me.
I knew it all along. You're just a soft serve softie.
Her tongue sticking out.
with the cherry on top.
Yosemite flips the paper over and scoffs.
The pitted kind, maybe. Careful. If you bite down, she'll crack your teeth.
I join her at the table and collapse into my chair.
I like this this art.
Yeah.
Zip it. Or next time I'll actually let you burst into flames.
It was just a fever. I would have been fine. Eventually.
Like that makes any sense. What if there's an actual campfire, or lightning strikes a tree? What happens then, huh?
What did I tell you about linear thinking? If this truce is going to continue, you're going to need to expand to the abstract.
Your existence is plenty enough abstract for me already.
Yosemite pauses over her work. She looks up and smirks. I smirk back. Who knows, it might be fun to have someone around this bar with. At the very least, she's more engaging than any camper I've ever torn apart. This girl bites back.
She likes how they like how they're each feisty.
Alright, everyone, listen up.
Yellowstone and Zion stiffen to attention. Pup rolls over onto his pup butt.
Onto his pup butt.
If you're bunking here, I want this place to stay immaculate. Last thing I want to deal with after clocking out is a pigsty.
Yellowstone will handle it.
She can start cooking for one more, too. That's so mean, guys. How can you just sell me up the river like that? Oh, that reminds me. What are you going to do with those campers, Miss Eve? Flip their lids? Make them apologize? And take them out back? Have them pinky swear not to do it again?
None of the above. I'm letting them off the hook. If I'm lucky, they'll get picked off by a killer in the woods. Otherwise, everybody gets one free pass.
Both looked shocked, but after glancing at each other, they shrug. Pups trots over and curls up at my feet.
Now that's funny.
What is it this time?
For someone who doesn't care, you sure put a lot of energy into it.
Was that episode 1?
Oh,
that was episode 1.
Episode 1.
Well, that's a good stopping point.
Yeah.
I was about to have us stop,
yeah, I was
when
too.
the phone call happened with Jesse, and then I was like, wait, no, maybe after the phone call with Jesse, and then I was like, wait, no.
I know.
Maybe after they're done talking here, and we move to the next scene, and it's like, okay, no, that's just the end of the first chapter.
Well, I really liked that, though.
Yeah.
So, really cute. Definitely a good suggestion, Sunder. Thank you for recommending that.
Yeah, thank you, Sunder.
And we have the first 3 episodes. The 4th episode just came out recently-ish. So, I know, the music's nice. I like the music. What are you doing?
I'm just making faces. Can I not make faces?
I mean,
yeah, it was really,
I
really
guess
good.
you
Wasn't
can
it,
make
Mary?
faces.
Yeah, the music's pretty good.
I like the little icon that we put for us. Let's see. Let's go here. Alright. Well, we are gonna be closing up for the night.
Oh, I'm glad you had such a good time, man.
Yeah, I'm so glad that you had a lot of fun.
Thank you for hanging out with us. And thank you everybody else also for hanging out with us.
And you also may or may not have bought the game yourself.
Good on you. I'm glad.
Yeah.
Support these devs. Who are the developers for this? I know the producers.
The publisher is Sakai Project.
Yeah, they usually
but,
make... Sakai Project usually makes ecchi. Developer Studio.
Howdy, yo, campers! And welcome to me and Zion's first fireside chat.
What?
I don't know.
Hello. It's very nice to be here. Today we're gonna do our gal Eve proud and talk about the history of the National Park Service. Before Yosemite finds out we took her book. I hope. Aw, don't be square, cutie. We got this. It all started back in the 10th century when Leif Erikson... That's a little too far back, Yellowstone. Oh, Columbus and his pilgrims, then. I don't think that's quite right, either. It's a good guess, though. The National Park Service actually has its roots in the years following the founding of the United States.
They're teaching us stuff about the National Park Service.
In 1790, after getting permission from Congress, President George Washington obtained land near the Potomac River to build a new capital city. This city was named Washington, D.C., and the plan was for it to have a lot of really pretty parks and monuments. Like the Lincoln Memorial? A little too soon. But you're on the right track. These places were called the National Capital Parks, and they laid really important groundwork.
Bonus content.
Whoa, so the Park Service is old as dirt, huh? Not really. There's still a ways to go before the actual Park Service. What happened? I thought you read the book. I did, but without pictures, all those words just make me so drowsy. Oh. Well, I guess I can explain. If that's okay. Knock our socks off. I'll try! For a long time, most parks were run by different groups. No one really thought about preserving land until people started looking to settle in the West. I remember what happens now. A whole bunch of hippies got misty-eyed and started thinking about how they could keep the land from getting stomped on. One of whom was... George... Yeah? Harrison? No. Kathleen! George Kathleen. Yay! Good job, Yellowstone. George Catlin was an artist and writer. He lived with Native Americans and was one of the first outside of their tribes to paint Plains Indians in their day-to-day lives. While he was kicking back in South Dakota, he realized we'd be in a lot of trouble unless humans put their heads together. Not unless... By some great protecting policy of government in the magnificent park. A nation's park containing man and beast, in all the wildness and freshness of their nature's beauty. We're almost to my favorite part! It's my favorite part too, because in 1861, the United States Congress appointed the geologist Ferdinand Hayden to lead an expedition to the Yellowstone region of Wyoming. Hey! That's me! Uh-huh. And he thought you were so pretty that when he came back, he asked Congress to make you a national park. Aw, he should have gone further south if he wanted to find a real cutie. Anyway, it was in 1872 when President Ulysses Grant finally signed a bill that set aside 2.2 million acres of Yellowstone as a public park. So if you think about it, you're the first national park. Timothy Cricket, I'm old as The Antiquities Act of 1906 made it possible to protect more areas as parks and monuments, but they were run by different departments. It was confusing. So on August 25th, 1916, the National Park Service was founded. Ah, yes. The best holiday after Arbor and Earth Day. It would take a while before it got the power it has today.
Execute Executive Order 6166.
Ominous.
Yay! You remembered again. From then on, everything was under strict control by the Department of the Interior. And they've been yanking our chain and screwing us over ever since. You like Miss Eve. It's scary. That's because I heard her grumble something about it earlier. She talks a mean jive, let me tell you. Woo! Would you look at that? We're all out of time. Catch you next time, campers. And remember to love our parks. Bye-bye.
What was the order? It wasn't just 6-6.
61-66. Crack?
Crack? The sound whips through the air. But from what? And who? I look around, but I don't remember telling myself to turn my head, like I'm a trapped observer in my own body. There are people, crowded around me and gasping. There are trees, too. A whole clearing of them, in fact. A few of them are even lined up in a row. All of them are dripping.
I don't like this.
Not with sap. Not with water or dew. Not as nature intended. It drips with fresh green paint. It bleeds into the bark. I look at the first tree and there's a trail. From where I'm standing, it looks like it connects to the next tree in the row. A long serpent-like body painted through it. This goes on for so long, for too long. Each tree drips, dripping paint down to the soil, entombing its roots. Then finally, at the last tree, there's the head of a dragon. It's wearing a baseball cap and smoking a blunt. I know it's a blunt because the smoke is a lighter shade of green. Yeah, this took a turn. Smoke that surrounds me. Smoke that becomes
Eve,
fog.
What are you doing?
A voice springs out of the fog. I recognize it. Her, Jessie. Why does she sound scared? Why does she sound shocked? Why does she sound furious?
Teaching him a lesson!
Oh my. Did I? Is that what I did? What did I do? On the ground, there's a man withering on the dirt, sobbing into a patch of grass. He's covering his mouth, his nose. Blood seeps through his fingers. Blood seeps into the dirt.
You bitch! What the hell? You broke my jaw! You broke my jaw!
Oh, this is a memory of what she did and got in trouble for.
I think this is order 6166.
You think so?
That's what Mary said.
His voice is muffled. The words tumble out in a panic.
Yeah? Well, your fucking neck is next!
This is not a family-friendly game, guys.
Don't you take another step!
My hand, I assume it's my hand, is balled up into a fist. Blood speckles the knuckles. I open it up and stare at my palm. So, what was the crack?
Oh god! It hurts! This is assault, you whore! I'll press charges! Sue you and this entire park!
Oh. Crack was the sound of his face made when my fist hit it.
How about I work those charges up to murder then?
Jeez. He reels back, raising his hands to shield himself. The green paint straining his hands begins to mix with the blood. I start to stomp over to him. Stomp, stomp, stop, stop.
Stop! You've gone too far this time, Eve!
Not far enough. Not until he's learned some respect.
Stop. Jessie tackles me from behind, restraining me with a full Nelson.
Get off of me!
Please, stop.
All you're doing is incriminating yourself. Now stand down!
No! I don't care anymore!
I elbow Jessie in her gut, struggling to break free, but her grip is like a locked chain. Someone stop her.
This is an order, Adams!
Someone stop me.
Eve!
Stop.
Eve!
Stop.
Eve!
I shoot up in bed. Sweat sticks to my pajamas. Breath trickles onto my suffocated lungs as I gasp desperately for air. A pair of arms wrap around my chest like a constrictive rope. With a few grunts, I wiggle onto my side. My cheek rolls onto a shallow pool of drool as I'm confronted with Yellowstone's murmuring face and buffalo print pajamas.
Administration is gonna flip your fries and malt.
Alright, I think we should save here.
I can't tell if this is like the cliffhanger, like Seems like Sundered said it was a cliffhanger.
So
maybe it's like gonna
Is it a
end
cliffhanger?
or did it already like...
I'm like wondering if it started into the second chapter.
Sundered, you've played this all before, right? Right? Or did you just know about this and suggest it?
Snuggling up to me, she squeezes me tighter. I think I prefer Jessie putting me in a submission hold. I should put in a request for a door. Yellowstone gives an unconscious grunt, then snores into the fabric of my shirt. Scratch that. I should put in a request for a door with a lock. I fall back onto my pillow. The faded morning light glitters through the window, anchoring me to the present, where my worst mistakes are behind me. Just over my shoulder, but still behind me. The mini volcano protruding from Yellowstone's head puffs out light dots of smoke, matching the rhythm of her breath. Time to call it a stream. I know! How do I stop?
I think we just save!
Alright, save. Do I save over this one?
Yeah.
No, you have. Okay, so Sundered has not played this.
Oh.
Alright. Well, that was really good. Wow, this like has a lot of. I saved it properly, right?
No. Yes. Yes, you did.
Let's save it one more time.
Okay, just go back to the title. Yes. Okay, oh, I see something.
Look at the gallery.
Curious of something. Curious what are we doing? Okay.
Okay,
yep.
that was the.
Yep.
So that's where it started.
Okay. That was the time. That was the start of the episode. Okay. Okay.
So I hope you guys all really enjoyed that. That was very good. I really enjoyed it. Okay, so now I've got somebody for us to go and raid.
Yeah.
So let's go and check out Samantha.
Oh
my. I loved that. Well, here's the link.
So there's the link. And Lotl Love. Actually, no, wait. Goddess Love.
The goddesses send their regards.
Okay.
No. Just joking.
Goddess Love raid. With whatever emote you want because we're on YouTube and yeah.
I think it's funny we've like repurposed the cough or sneeze or whatever it is into a dab.
Is that a cough?
It's supposed
or
to be
sneeze?
a cough or a sneeze.
Really?
Elbow cough.
Elbow cough. What?
But we've been using it as a dab.
It looks like dancing. That's dancing.
I'm dancing. All right.
All right.
Well,
so we're gonna
thank you
hop
guys
into
for joining
this one.
us.
Oh, I can't just type. I have to do the actual emotes.
Thank you guys for joining us. We'll see you next time. Thank you.
All right. Yes. Bye, everybody. Thank you so much. I just went into the other stream, so hop on over. Let's go raid them. And thank you all so much.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.